and I was just checking. Are you driving home? Because if she said she was driving home, I was gonna talk to the owner and say, "Yo, please get her an Uber home." You know what I mean? And just make sure that her car is safely parked here, and then she can come pick it up in the morning because she's obviously not on the stage as a concerned person. And the way she lost her mind, and I did it so very politely, you know what I mean? Well, I mean, that's what the people at my table said. They said, you were very polite with that lady.
She lost it.
She completely lost it.
She was teasing you.
Yeah.
Did she realize who you were?
No, I didn't even know. She said, "Who are you?"
Oh,
You know,
and
and I was like, okay. Yeah. You need to pray in the morning, guys. Pray in the morning when you wake up. Be grateful that you're awake. You know what I mean? I think it starts with that, because if you can just train your mind to be just grateful for the fact that you're awake, even when challenges come, you're alive to change them. It takes a lot to repair your image if you've been described by our parents as umuntu nenhlamba.
But now, NOTA, nenhlamba.
Yeah, I know.
And thank you for taking accountability.
Yeah.
Because you have to move better. I sat down with you 2 years ago and you said you're going to move presidentially. You're not going to stoop down so low. Yes, I know we troll sometimes, right? You troll and all of that. But stay away from all of that, bro. Move the way you wanted to move, as you did say 2 years ago. Be presidential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reason I love you, bro. But apparently NOTA said to you, reason was talking about love, so you can't just act all brand new.
Just imagine.
Welcome to the first episode of November. I think the two things quickly before we get into it, guys. Subscribe. The problem with you guys, you watch the content, you enjoy it, but you don't subscribe. Not only just subscribe, but don't forget to click the notification bell so you know when we're dropping brand new episodes. And I'd like to congratulate and thank the private members community. If you want to become a part of the members, they pay, I think, 29 Rand every month. Yeah. To keep the lights on the platform. So yeah, you can join us. We are a private community, and 2025 we'll be doing a lot of meetings together, opportunities to invest amongst one another, and just growing our relationship as the private members. We are currently sitting on less than 100 members. For a platform that is closing in on 300,000 subscribers, less than 100 members is not enough, guys. But about 90-something members, if I'm not mistaken. So we need to grow that number. Before the end of this year, guys, we need to at least get to maybe, let's say, 150, 120, I don't know. But yeah, I'd like to invite you to become a part of the community. The authority is here.
Pour into us, guys. Pour into us.
Yeah.
Subscribe, become a member, support the platform, because, you're helping us bring in a lot of very valuable content. And I think, we've shown a commitment to bring people some type of content that, at least stands the test of time. I saw a couple clips since we've been sharing a lot of clips of older episodes. I saw, I guess, what do they call it? Tutuzane.
Oh, Tutuzane.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about Umbuyiseni Ndlozi. Because, he made that Ubabaga Tutuzane. So he made that famous. So I nearly said Ubabaga Tutuzane. No, Ututuzane, yeah.
Guys,
himself.
Bonuses are coming in a few weeks' time. And I think, let me mention this on the pod. If you've got a bonus that's coming, you'll have a little bit of money. Don't upgrade your car. Don't do it as snacks. Rather invest than you or go build defense or go renovate or your own house, or just invest the money. And what makes me talk about that is because we've got investment opportunities with Ekasi Noble Property Development on a group investment opportunity where people pay off a once-off 147,000 rands to get grouped with other property investors, so you guys get to own some of the properties on our estates that we are building collectively as a group. And then we assign you with an attorney. You can get your own legal advice as well. You can make them to be present, and the attorney will then help you guys as a group investment collective to then form your own trust together, so you guys can then grow your portfolio, so you can put out rental accommodation and get passive income out of it. Just one of the ideas, just to throw it out there. I know you're thinking of a lot of things of what you want to do with your bonus money.
Yeah, no, actually, that's also some very sound advice, or pay down some debt,
Yeah.
things like that. That will also assist you going forward. And also just stop yourself from spending. Like if you're getting a bonus, you already have your salary, you already have your monthly budget. Don't look into what you're going to do with your bonus in the middle of December. If you are able to put it in a fixed term facility until you decide what you do that. At least that takes the self-discipline element out of it. You know what I mean? There's so many barriers to having to take that money out that if you put it in a deposit facility, it gives you the peace of mind of being able to utilize that money best, with clarity, not out of desperation. So I think that's also some sound advice.
I totally agree. And I just would like to reiterate on this one. There is no need to upgrade your lifestyle yet. I'm not saying don't upgrade, but there's no need yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So just take it easy a bit. And for those that are going through the most, it's okay, man, to go back home. It's okay to downgrade your lifestyle. It's okay to get rid of that expensive car. But now he has my installment every month. Mara lobelobele sele ngathi uyinje etratini bakubhadala ngaboka. Ngabokana ma like how uyinje intswembu riding mara inyanga nayiphele yakapa. Downgrade boy. Monna ke van.
Mara these days yeah ranky mode. You can put it on Uber if you feel like it's too much for you of a burden, to at least make some income out of it. Yeah, I think we need to be very circumspect with our spending, but I think our spending patterns have also changed, A lot of cash and carries, a lot of bulk stores were complaining over the past couple of years is that, usually they stock up a lot for December. And into June this year, some of them still had the stock that they'd stocked up for December. So our consumption is down on one level, but prices are a little bit more sticky. It's taking longer for prices to come back down, and demand is lower for a whole lot of different products, and a whole lot of things. I mean, I was just looking at gold the other day. I mean, where we used to be one of the top exporters of gold. We're still amongst the top 10, but we're exporting or producing. No, we're exporting less than 100 tons of gold this year at the current rates, And I think last year it was 110, and it's been coming down over the years. And that's some of our biggest exports as well. So I expect that consumption trends are also going to change because of that. I mean, our gold mining companies are some of our biggest employers. I think Sibanye Stillwater is currently South Africa's #1 employer, and they've been downsizing a lot of their operations, reducing their production. So a lot of people that were in the mining field, especially mine workers, a lot of them are out of work. So you can expect consumption to come down, spending to come down. So for those that have jobs, that have secured some form of employment, you need to be very careful with how you spend that money, because if you are trying to look for another job right now, it's not the right climate. The companies have got a lot more leverage than the workers, and the workers are also starting to lose benefits, even in the financial services sector. A lot of new accountants that have been hired, a lot of new bankers that have been hired, they're not getting like benefits anymore. Some companies, they used to say if you're traveling internationally on a flight that's longer than 6 hours, they'd book you on business class. Now everything is economy, unless there's a reason for them to fly you on business, or you can have the option to upgrade yourself at your own cost if you want to. So when you look at and see trends like that, you need to know that, especially within the job market, things are very, very hostile right now, especially for the workers. And those that are employed need to ensure that they're putting their money into investments that will give them passive income, because you never know what's going to happen with work as well. And just looking at not just our government, but our political parties in this country, they've got a lot of influence on what happens in business, what happens to workers, and they're not thinking ahead, you know. The first episode we recorded this year, earlier this year, I was speaking about AI and how people are not thinking about AI and its demands for electricity. You know, Germany has been deindustrializing. You know, their economic output has gone down a lot, and we know that a lot of the energy generation was coming from gas. Um, and they were supposed to shut down all their coal plants. They shut down a lot of their nuclear plants. In fact, I think they're importing nuclear energy now. But their their manufacturing output has gone down, and that was Europe's biggest economy. And they're going back to dirtier fuels, so to speak, like coal. That's why we're exporting a whole lot more coal. And even South Africa is also seeing a lot of deindustrialization. I mean, we've been having it over a number of years, and I just was made to think about this because I saw that clip of the Duduzane Zuma interview, and I was thinking to myself, we lose a lot of opportunities because certain people are either blacklisted or have got a cloud of corruption around them, etc. And some of those suggestions that he was making, I was thinking to myself, that's a voice that we might actually need, someone who's been an entrepreneur for many years, been in innovative spaces, especially with the work that he's done with his business partners in the Middle East a lot, whether it be the Qatari business partners that he worked with at some point in time, the partners from India that he worked with a lot of time. He's very well networked. And ideas that come naturally to people like him don't come naturally to some of our more tenured politicians. And now he's not even playing in the political space. I know he started his own political movement, but I don't think that it ended up contesting in our previous elections. And with him not even being part of his father's party, I just feel like they might be losing out on someone who's had valuable experience that no one else within their party has, or any political party that could use someone like Duduzane right now, would be benefiting a lot from the ideas that he has and the way in which he sees things differently. You were talking to him a lot about crypto, and it ended up being a conversation. I've never seen you speaking to anyone else that is, I guess, within a political party in all the interviews that you've done, and they knew so much about the crypto space, or they were even keen to engage on it. And people are getting into that right now, but we don't have the political will to actually research and investigate new ways in which we could revive our economy and get workers out of this precarious situation that they find themselves in right now, because things are really tough. I'm noticing it. Usually when you go past Morningside Shopping Center, it's full. You go past any of these shopping center where white people stay, it's full. The restaurants are full. Now when you go past Emalokshin shopping centers or anything else, it's full during the day because people are not working, and some of them just want activity to do. They can't just sit at home the whole day, and that's not normal. If you're staying in complexes, usually the parking lot is empty during the day because people are at work. Now the parking lot is empty because people have moved out, or are no longer staying where they used to stay. And I've noticed that. I don't know if you saw the latest reports from Baldwin Properties.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so they've got like almost 3,800 properties unsold at Munyaka. They've sold only 420 properties so far this year. Profits are down 57%. Rental occupancy levels are down 21% this year. And there was this account. I don't know if he's going to be active anymore because I saw a tweet from the person that's running the account today, Josie versus Josie. And they're saying, okay, my point is made. My job is done. And we were hearing people saying, hey, this account is going to reduce our property prices. And I was speaking to a friend of mine who's also said, they live in Sunninghill, by the way. Also said because of the offices around them, especially within the Sunninghill area, being converted into rental accommodation, that's also brought down their property values because now there's somewhat of an oversupply, comparatively speaking, of rental for accommodation. And people that have got properties that have invested in what were high density areas in the past, right now they're going to see a slower rate in growth, possibly less than inflation, in fact, most probably less than inflation growth in their property values. So even their assets, are not gaining as much value. So it's very, very important to ensure that you spend very wisely, very conservatively at a time like this. And there's also other opportunities now. For those of you that buy Gucci's, Louis Vuittons, there's a whole lot of secondhand stores that are actually buying some luxury goods, and you don't need to be holding on to luxury goods for the sake of holding on to them. You know what I mean? If they were able to retain more value than our cheap Pick and Pay and Woolworths steakies, then at least parlay that and use that as something that can bring you some money that you can better deploy in investments. I think, yeah.
You're talking about Duduzane Zuma and the episode that we had. The episode that we had with Duduzane Zuma was incredible, and shout out to the Black Pen for making that episode happen.
Is he the Black Pen? He's no longer. He's now at Penuelism.
Mina ngimbiza noma yini intwana yami uPenuel.
Yeah.
Mina ningambiza right mina ngimbiza noma.
No, he's at Penuelism. He changed the name of his YouTube page to at Penuelism.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Njengawo intwana yami ngimbiza noma yini. So that episode Duduzane shared a lot of gems, bro.
Yeah, that's
a lot of
saying.
ideas. And sometimes I watch the Parliament TV and I listen to younger politicians like Mbuyiseni Ndlozi.
Yeah.
He drops a lot of gems in Parliament, and it just shows you an example of if we can have more younger, smarter, educated minds. They've got great ideas, especially the ones that are well-traveled, that are global citizens.
Yes.
Because they get to experience things in overseas countries and they come back here. And it's something like a Stokvel is nothing new, but how I see it is unions turn to look after the interests of the workers. And because the workers pay every month, whatever it might be, 150 rands every month, 300 rands every month, or 200 rands, or whatever it might be, and you've got about 200,000 members, or you've got about 500,000 members, or even just 100,000 members, and that money comes every month. If it's 100,000 members, for argument's sake, let's say they pay 100 rands. Times 100,000. How much is that, bro? And what they do is they would usually look for good opportunities to invest in imali abasebenzi so that abasebenzi can have returns, right? Yeah. So, which is incredible. That's how a lot of unions work. Yeah. So they would do deals on behalf of abasebenzi. So the other day I was listening to Dr. Umar, and Dr. Umar was talking about the importance of the black church. The black church is in every corner of every black neighborhood, right? Yes, as much as bottle stores as well, liquor stores. But the black church plays a very important role. And what we do when we're there, we tithe, right? But what if the church, rest in peace to Pastor Ray Macaulay. And I do know that Grace Bible Church in Soweto was modeled around Rhema Bible Church.
And it's such an influential church,
Incredible church.
And my family went there. There was a friend of mine, Ofonilo Umawake, the other day, on actually this past Sunday. So Umawake is asking, "Awu yesonto namhlanje?" Hayi thina sishonelwe.
Oh yes, man. May so rest in peace.
So Pastor Ray, ishonelwe. So may so rest in peace. Yeah.
How he was able to have a great board and run the church like a business and efficiently run it like a well-oiled machine. I think that's what also inspired Grace Bible Church, because there are a lot of those types of churches all over the country. They just need good leadership with intentional plans and with the care to want to help the church grow and the members of the church, right? So when you watch Grace Bible Church, you look at Rhema Bible Church and such churches all over the country. There's a lot of them. why can't we, lama sonto wasemakasi, form them, not only just a good board and all of that type of stuff, so it runs efficiently, monies, people who are treasurers and whatever, they're accountable to the church, but just using the church as a platform for black people to form some sort of a church stokvel that benefits the members, the church in a bigger
Itself
scale.
and the community.
The community, in terms of not only just doing good in the community, but also educating some of the church members' children, varsity. Investing that money for some of the church members into things like farming, agriculture, real estate, etc. But you don't just only get this money as a form of tithing and it just only goes to the church. They don't benefit. They only benefit the wisdom and the word. But let them benefit somehow by collectively pooping out monies intentionally every month.
Yeah.
Monies that are separate from the actual tithing of the church. You know, such ideas. I mean,
I mean, it's a good idea, but we've got a very big challenge in our black communities. All our best people leave the community. So, I mean, I started going to church at Rhema, obviously because it was close. But on Sunday as well, I went to my parents. My mother's got a plug that does our laundry in North Riding by the Northlands Deco Center. They do a load for like 40 Rand, fold it, iron it, and everything else. You know, I don't know, maybe that's my mother's special. Maybe I shouldn't say that. but okay, my
Don't
mom's
blow
got a
her
plug.
cover.
I don't know. Hey, but, you know, so I was expecting my mom to at least have made breakfast. I made myself maltebella at my place. You know, I'm thinking that no, by the time ngifike endlini kune breakfast serious, ne bacon, sausage, you understand? Ngizothola time alda lidla. No, my mother said, no, I've got to go to an early service. I'm going to this new church of mine. I haven't made any breakfast, and umdog so pelile, your dad had umdog. And I was like, no, I actually wanted proper breakfast, single umdog. And unfortunately, all I could get was fruit, nachos, a pear, which I don't actually eat, and a banana. But I asked my father, oh, what church is this now? And why is she going to such an early service? So she moved to the church in Cosmo City.
Okay.
So, you know, my mother obviously has an affinity to being around people from the same type of communities that, you know, she grew up. My mother's a Sowetan.
Yeah.
You know, umuntu waselokshin,
Yeah.
but she's lived in the suburbs since, you know, I was a kid, since I was a baby. And for her to leave Rhema Church, you know what I mean, go back to Isonto Elingatilise Lokshin, even though Cosmo City is actually very close to us, or where my parents stay. It was about the type of black community feel that you feel when you're going to those churches, Emma Lokshin. And when you look at what our young professionals do, you know, that our accountants, because those are the people that we need, our actuaries, those are some of the people that we need.
The number crunchers.
All of those people that have got those ideas. Unfortunately, the problem with those types of people is that right now they're leaving those same communities where those churches are. You know, so those churches don't have access to those people. The people that are going to our churches, Emma Loklin, the people that are going to the churches in the communities that we come from are mostly the people that are there. You know, it's much closer to them. And also there's a little bit of status that we start to feel as black people when we now are going to the churches, Emma Sababsini and stuff like that. And we're forgetting that we're losing out on that community that we left behind. And that community that we left behind is losing out on the new skills that we're gaining and that we're engaging with. So that's why our churches are unable to, you know, actually invest in the community, because the people that have got the knowledge that can volunteer. We spoke to the king of the Ndebele people last week, you know, and he was talking about himself relying on volunteers, people who've got a passion for, you know, protecting the monarchy and preserving their culture. They are volunteering. It's very difficult for someone to volunteer to a church that's out of the community that they're living in right now, you know, proximity issues. And then you also lose sight of the things that are actually happening in that community. You're no longer going back Elokshin each and every single week. So you're no longer noticing that guy, and then all of a sudden he got a job, so he disappeared from that corner. You know what I mean? So you don't know what's happening in the condition of the people, and you're not feeling the impetus that's needed for you to actually invest your time and volunteer in those communities. So those are the things that we need to address. We need to change the sentiment, of our professionals. I saw a tweet from Professor Pakeng. I got her name right now. I got it. Professor
Professor
Pakeng.
Mamuketi Pakeng.
Yeah. So she.
Pakeng, not
Yeah,
Keng.
because
Keng,
she's
yeah.
been making a lot of noise right now on social media with a lot of her posts. So people are thinking, hey, why don't you get involved in politics? You know what I mean? Or are you involved in politics? Someone was asking her, are you involved in politics? And she says, no, I would never involve myself in politics. And I feel, for me, that is the most selfish thing that our professionals can do. Very few people have got access to knowledge and skills and ideas. And for them to feel like they do not have to involve themselves in the politics of the country in any way, shape, or form. You don't have to be actively in there, but you can involve yourself some way so that you can at least influence how things are, and you can help people that have got better ideas come to the fore. You can give them a media platform. I mean, you do that. You know what I mean? You might not be campaigning or anything else, but a lot of the politicians, they rely on people like you to come and spread their ideas and for you to amplify them. And also yourself, you've got access to so many of them that you can compare some of the better and worse ideas that they bring to you. And even when you speak and you engage with them, you know what I mean, you are able to critically analyze the proposals that they're making. And I feel like our professionals are letting us down in that regard, especially our black professionals. They're not doing enough to get involved in creating the ideas that will build a better future for their children, their grandchildren, and for their parents to retire in. And I said this before when we spoke, and I said, when you're at the traffic lights and the desperation has got to the level where someone is deciding to put a gun to your head, to take your car, to take your positions, that's when you'll realize the role that you played in contributing to the desperation that's around, to the inequality. And those are the things that we need to be wary of, because it's very, very difficult to keep ourselves safe from the conditions that we're living in. You know what I mean? We cannot exclude ourselves. We cannot isolate ourselves. Some of us stay in nice gated communities, but those gated communities are only as good as the high fences. By the time people now start taking to the streets and they get into our gated communities, they get into your fence, they get into the yards, you'll be overrun. The malls were overrun during the looting. There was nothing that the police could do. People were saying, hey, why don't the police do something? Why are they just standing there watching them? I mean, it's like, okay, you grab this one, and while you're arresting this one, there's 10 others that are now ransacking the store. So there's actually almost nothing you can do. The only thing that the cops could do is just prevent people from breaking the property, you know what I mean? And try to catch as many as they can and record them, you know what I mean? So they can catch up with them later. But they couldn't do anything to really stop that surge at that point in time. And I feel like our country is on the brink of a surge right now. Just the sentiment that I'm sensing, and I've spoken about this for a number of episodes as well. I just feel like our people are not in a good space. Our people are not in a happy space. I was at a restaurant, Izolo, yeah, and there was a lady who drank, I think, 2 bottles of wine.
Alone.
Yeah, she was alone, but I was with people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and now she broke a glass, and so she decided, okay, maybe it's time to leave.
Ngoba sekanqamukile na.
Yeah.
Ayiwani inokwenzela kanje izongonokwenza na ixegisa amadolo ungaboni uhleli
Mina,
phansi.
isip would do that to me because I don't drink. So, like, I can only imagine someone who drank. I can't even imagine. I've never even drank a bottle of anything in my life. So I can only imagine how it was. And she was at a table across from me, right? And I said to her, okay, are you all right? Because this is like my neighborhood restaurant. I'm always there. All the waiters know me, the owners know me, and everything else. And this person was pretty unfamiliar to me. And I was just checking, are you driving home? Because, if she said she was driving home, I was going to talk to the owner and say, yo, please get her an Uber home. You know what I mean? And just make sure that her car is safely parked here, and then she can come pick it up in the morning, because she's obviously not in the state, as a concerned person. And the way she lost her mind, and I did it so very politely, you know what I mean? Well, I mean, that's what the people at my table said. They said, you were very polite with that lady.
She lost it.
She completely lost it.
She was teasing you.
Yeah.
Did she realize who you were?
No, didn't even know. She said, "Who are you?"
Oh,
You know,
kuzongitshela la. Oh, bese kanqamukile.
and and I was like, okay, no.
Ngivele ngimi again.
Yeah, but I just felt like, because I could feel like, whatever she's going through, whatever took her to that point is so bad that right now she doesn't even care how indecent she looks, just berating someone who's concerned about her. And obviously when people drink, sometimes they forget some of the things that they do. So I don't even think that she'll remember doing that. You know what I mean? I'll remember, obviously, but I can forgive her for the fact that, she wasn't in the right state of mind. But I felt, really terrible. I'm like, whatever it is that she's going through, and I think I arrived at that restaurant. What time did I arrive at that restaurant? Around 3 p.m. So that's working hours. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It might be work related. It might not be work related. It might be unemployment related or something like that. Or something bad happened to this lady. And I'm just seeing a whole lot more people are very, very snappy. Very, very angry, I was in traffic driving some people the other day and someone cut me off. And people just driving terribly, like unnaturally. And people like, hey man, why propose? Like, why don't you tell these people? I'm like, I don't know what's going on with these people, but the way I feel right now, I feel like if I tell someone that, hey, they might shoot me. No, seriously, like it might turn into an uncontrolled road rage incident, because I just feel that the sentiment of our country right now is very, very negative,
You see it on social media.
You see it as well,
especially on Twitter.
You know what I mean? It's like people are very, very, very easy to offend. Very easy to offend. You know what I mean? And
even with these platforms,
yes,
like I bump into some people and sabang treat us strange. We're in the same industry, and I'm like, and then somehow sometimes I speak up straight up,
Yeah.
and a person tells me, no, ngithandanga into ishilo so na so podcast yakho. Aw, ngitheni?
Uh.
Because I'm not that type of person. I don't put out negativity out there. Yeah, kodwa into yakhona nakathi ukutshela yona, it's like, oh, but we said that like in passing or jokingly, or people baneyinhliziyo ezincane.
Yeah.
People are impatient.
You know what I mean?
People are angry.
People are very angry. So I mean, we need to pray in the morning, guys. Pray in the morning when you wake up. Be grateful that you're awake. You know what I mean? I think it starts with that, because if you can just train your mind to be just grateful for the fact that you're awake, even when challenges come, you're alive to change them, to overcome them. You're alive to do something about them.
When you're present.
You understand
in
what
the
I'm
moment, yeah.
That's
Sometimes you see people driving and you can see this person is not present. Their mind is elsewhere. It's just the body that's driving the car.
You know what I mean? That's the thing, and it scares me. Like they look like what is it? NPCs. Like it's like there's a whole bunch of NPCs that are walking around. You know what I mean? I'm like I don't know. I grew up very old school. Like when I'd walk into a room, any room, my dad would make me greet everyone, shake everyone's hand, introduce myself. Hi, I'm Nhlamulo Baloy. You know what I mean? I'm 8 years old. Yes. My birthday is on the 20th of March. How are you? I guess maybe that's a little bit too much, but it's important information as a kid. People need to know when's your birthday so you can get you gifts. Things like that. But I'm just not seeing that. You know what I mean? The other day, someone walked in with with his son. You know what I mean? The son is on the phone. The father is busy with what he's doing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm the man I am. And I'm warm with people. I've never met someone who said that, you know what, someone I know met you and you were off, or you weren't in the mood to meet them or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's because of my father, and that's how he raised me. It's like, you know what, it doesn't matter what you're going through. Don't spill that out onto other people. Just be open. Have conversations. We can joke and snap at each other, but I mean, it's I guess. It's a joke at the end of the day. We're not being serious, and people are just losing their humanity. Like as Senabuntu, people walk past you. We're in Newtown right now. No one greets. No one greets.
What my sister abelungu? Phela
Like-
abantu abangabingeleli abelungu.
Yeah, and you know what I mean?
Ke makgowa sa dumediseng. Rona botaki re godisitswe ka hlompho ka botho man.
You know?
Dumedisa bingelela,
You know what I mean? Like even that, like people don't even greet their petrol attendants anymore.
They don't even
The
tip.
petrol attendant is but I mean, tipping is difficult. Let's be honest. I mean, petrol price.
No, but there's some people who can tip at a restaurant, but they don't want to tip the security guard or the petrol attendant. If they
Yeah.
give you great service, tip, man.
Yeah, sometimes you must just tip for the sake of tipping.
Sometimes
even
not
if you're poor.
tipping, but just on a McDonald's or Nando's drive-through. Just, paying a compliment to the lady that's serving you.
Yeah.
You're very beautiful.
Yes.
Now, whoa, hold on. I'm just saying you're beautiful. You got a great smile.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I see it. Sometimes umuntu avela like, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I once did that to one lady who just broke out in tears. And I was like, what's wrong? And I was like, wow, people are going through the most, man.
People are really going
Something
through
so
the most.
little as just smiling to the next person or just being kind can make a difference,
So, yeah, I mean, we need to look at the state of Ubuntu in the country. And I think we need a barometer so that every week we check it. It's like, okay, no, today we're at level 10 Ubuntu. The same way we check our electricity, we're at level what, you're at level what, reduce, switch off the geyser, switch off this, switch off that.
Please don't turn your mic a little bit closer.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Switch off the geyser, switch off this, switch off that. Even the fact that we're switching off our geyser so often these days.
Hey, my man, because we're checking prices, my man.
Hey.
There's one lady who once made fun of guys like us who switch off the geyser at night because we're checking our costs. Like, I won't date a broke guy, man, who has to go switch off a geyser at night when they go to sleep and wake up in the early hours of the morning to go switch off the geyser. I'm like, whoa.
Tina's four, just light the geyser.
Yes, Tina, hey, it matters. We've got kids, we've got the support, this
you know what I mean?
fees.
And some of us are paying for
every cent matters.
Some of us are paying for electricity for more than one household.
Hey, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, people are not even thinking about that. It's like you're dating a guy who's supporting how many families right now?
Bro.
And you're not even thinking about that.
And all of you guys who are students or young professionals, sorry to come in there, I'll give it back to you. You don't have to eat Uber Eats every night, man. Cook.
Yini Uber Eats. As a student.
Cook.
As a student.
Cook.
I'm
even talking about those young professionals who've just started working. Just because they've got 20K every month or 50K every month. Uber Eats, you'll be surprised how much money you'll save. Even just going out less. It does help also in preserving your money, man,
Yeah. I mean, my sister's an amazing cook. She cooks so well. And she cooks before she goes to work in the morning. Yes. So she cooks and packs iskaftina for lunch. And then when she comes home, she's got her supper. So she cooks once that meal for the day, and then she'll have it twice. You know what I mean? Maybe she'll add certain things like salad, which will stay in the fridge or whatever. But the main meal that she's cooked is there, and everything else. And
by the way, those young professionals with great ideas that I was talking about earlier, word goes around in government offices all over the country that NOTA's sister, brilliant, bright young mind.
Yeah.
Your sister is amazing.
She's turning 40. She turned 40 this year, so she's
incredible.
no longer a part of the youth.
But she's still young, man, at 40.
She's my sister.
She's in government.
Yeah.
Man.
No,
I like the fact that she's contributing towards our country.
I mean, she works for the Institute of Economic Justice, so they advise government, they advise politicians, they advise, international, and she's part of the, what is this, the Climate Action Committee, the Just Economic Transition advisory committee that's advising the president.
Two people told me about your sister. One who works at Obab Gweta's office.
Oh yes.
And somebody also works at the presidency.
Yeah.
The president's office.
Yeah.
Two separate people who don't know each other.
Yeah.
Who spoke very highly of your sister. About her brilliant, bright brains.
Yeah, no, thank you. Those brilliant, bright brains, they're used to get me out of trouble usually.
And they've saved your life too.
Many times. So, even her, but that's just because she's got an electric stove, not a gas stove, Okay, so some of us who use gas stoves, it's because it's cheaper. I mean, I buy my gas cylinder once every 4 months. So I buy 3 gas cylinders for my cooking. Per year, and one gas cylinder I think is 300 rand. So I guess my cooking is 1,200 rand, or so, or a year at most, or 900 rand. So that saves you a lot if you just cook once, because the stove uses a lot of electricity, as well.
And while you're talking about that, don't forget the train of thought. Some of us guys who buy electricity tokens or who recharge or who use prepaid electricity, don't forget to go to the place that supply you with the electricity to go and recode your meters.
Oh,
Because
yes.
by the end of this month, end of November, they're going to do away with this old system that we've been accustomed to. You're going to have
I've
to...
recoded mine.
Yeah, so those who haven't recoded, a lot of people still haven't. Millions of South Africans still haven't. So go and recode your meter so that basically there's a new way on how you can buy electricity moving forward. You buy tokens. So just Google it and research it and go do it now so that you don't get inconvenienced by the end of this month when the government cuts it off. Sure.
Yeah, I think like I've recoded mine, and it cost me like it cost me almost 110 rand to recode my system, because I didn't know that they were recoding them, and then I ended up having to call the call center, and I waited for so long in line just for them, because I bought electricity vouchers and they weren't going in. You know what I mean? So I thought maybe there's a problem with my meter, so I tried to put them in the next day, and then now I'm on almost 0.1, and I'm trying to reach. I'm like, hey, damn it, like everything's gonna switch off if I don't figure out what's going on, and I bought the electricity vouchers and they're not working. So I called the number, and the guy's like, no, you just need to recode it, just enter this code. So there's a KRN prepaid meter token number that you need to put in. And if you guys need assistance with that, just use the internet. Go to alfred.eskom.co.za/chatroom/ for assistance. And there's a chat bot that's over there for any questions that you guys have about recoding the Eskom vending system update. I've got some of the information over here for those of you who don't have enough data.
Share it. Now I've got some information to share on something else. Just
so
continue.
from the 24th of November, right, to check that your meter is correct and ready, you need to put in the code, and I'm going to say it slowly. 1 8 4 4 6 7 4 4 0 7 3 8 4 3 7 7 2 4 1 6 on your meter number. If it displays I, it requires recoding. If it displays 2, your meter has been recoded. And for more information about that, you just need to follow Eskom on social media and tune into local radio announcements or join the local engagement sessions. What other information did you have there?
The information that I have is that if you earn anything from 3,500 rands and under 22,000, so if you earn from 3,500 rands, in between 3,500 rands and 22,000 rands, in between there, you qualify for a program called FLISP. I'm talking about homeowners now, and first-time homeowners. I'm talking to all you young people, even the ones that we work with.
Okay, so what about Abazalbet who are on pension, who are now earning their salaries within that band, and the home that they're staying in is their first home? It's not that they recently bought it. It's still their first home.
They don't qualify.
Okay.
Those who qualify is those who are going to buy their first homes.
Okay.
What is FLISP? FLISP is something called the Finance Linked Individual Subsidy Program. Basically, it's a government subsidy program that gives you money for you to be able to afford to go buy your first home. But the most important information is FLISP has changed. The name is no longer going to be FLISP anymore. The government now calls it the First Home Finance Subsidy. It's no longer going to be FLISP. It's going to be First Home Finance Subsidy. And how does it work? Basically, let me give you this information quickly without wasting your time. It is paid out by the National Housing Finance Corporation. Your income must range from 3,500 to 22,000 rands monthly to qualify. And that's gross, ne? That's not net, that's gross.
That means before deductions.
Yes. You must be a first-time home buyer who's never benefited from a government scheme before. You must be a South African. You no longer need home loan approval to apply for the FLISP. So even if you're not buying from the bank, you're basically buying from an individual, an ordinary person, and you guys have agreed and they've approved you've signed an OTP, you've got your OTP in your hands, then you do qualify. And then more information quickly says you can apply through your financial institution or a home loan comparison service such as Uber, home loans, etc. There's many others out there. The application process usually takes around 7 days. And let me give you more information here quickly. The first home finance may be used in combination with one of the following housing loan products, mortgage loans, unsecured housing loans from any lender registered with the National Credit Regulator, the pension-backed housing loans granted or guaranteed by a pension or provident fund, housing loans granted by the community-based savings schemes such as stokvels and cooperatives, households own resources or savings, installment sale agreements, as I was saying earlier, rent to buy agreements, housing loans supported by permission to occupy the PTOs issued by the government recognized traditional authorities to enable delivery of the subsidy in rural areas. It's quite an important program. Sometimes esikhathini esiningi ingam lazinokusishaya ngoba zicava information and thina thola ukuthi sometimes ama-opportunities akhona, but because we don't know no better, we don't have the information, lose ama-opportunities ukuthi si-benefit. So go take advantage of the FLISP program, which has changed to no longer being FLISP. It's now, as I did say, the finance home,
FHFS.
Yeah, finance home, first home finance. And remember, you have to be buying
Subsidy.
So they can give you anything, depends. So the more you earn, over 3,500 rands, the less they give you. So the less you earn, the more they give you. They can give you all the way up to 200,000.
So are you ready to give me a spot test?
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to be earning 3,500 rand minimum.
Minimum, yeah.
Maximum 22,000 rands. You need to be a South African citizen. It needs to be your first home purchase. You don't need to have a bond agreement or approval or mortgage approval, even if it's a private sale and there's a payment arrangement between you and the owner. As long as you've got the OTP, you can then send that information in with your identification documents. And if you haven't previously used any government subsidy or previously been financed by the government, then you can qualify.
Yeah.
Correct.
And lastly, how long does the application take?
Damn.
Just a week, 7 days.
Okay, so
you got
okay.
it. You got 90%.
90 at least. At least.
That was dope.
At least,
Sure.
at least. Okay, no,
So
cool.
all you young people out there, my young hustlers, there's an opportunity. Research it right now. Just as soon as you're done with this episode, go to Google, go research it and find out all the information and go out there and get that free money, guys. Come on.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So there's a lot of government services that are also coming into being. So I think we've just gone off the dome for a lot, but I really wanted us to pick up on some of the topics that we didn't catch up with.
Some of the things that happened last week, geez, man. Shout out to Shivambu for Walsh. We've been communicating. He's been on this platform before. I've been on his platform before as well.
Yeah,
From when he started
he must come back.
He must come back. Now that is big. So proud of you,
But
bro.
you must start at Woolworths first when he comes.
Why?
So you can give him his flowers.
Yeah, no. He's killing it.
He's killing it.
And we used to chat and he used to tell me about his gradual growth and he's just in his own niche. He wants to grow the space.
Yeah.
It's so amazing to see his growth just before the elections early this year.
But why is he so controversial? Like, I don't understand.
Think it is, but I'm going there.
Yeah.
Especially now that the platform has now grown. It's reaching out to more people and he has been breaking stories since the past month.
Okay, but okay.
Like last week, I want us to get into the Floyd
Shivambu but
episode. But before we
all his episodes, even with that, even the response and the reaction that he gets, like, I mean, the Naledi Pando interview, it went viral, had reactions, had I think Julius Malema ended up on Face the Nation
show, yeah.
And then it became a hullabaloo.
Clement, when are we sitting, bro?
You know what I mean? The one with Mam Busisiwe, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane as well. You know what I mean? And when I look at him and his demeanor, he's just asking questions. He doesn't even ask poking or pressing questions. It's like people just come to his platform and they say things, you know what I mean? Unprovoked, Nje. Unprovoked. He's not even like fishing that information out of them. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even giving them Chilla's punch. You know, because I know Umekji, you can see.
I'm a short of drink champs.
You know what I mean? He's not even doing anything. And then I don't know what it is about his demeanor.
They feel safe around him. He's an incredible dude. He's humble. And he's very knowledgeable about South African politics. He's got his PhD from Oxford.
I mean,
but apart from that, he's a really cool dude.
I mean, I'm not really too much on like measuring people's knowledge and
Intelligence
intelligence.
based on their education, right?
But his
he's
books-
he's got wisdom. Let me put it that
No,
way.
I've read his books.
Yeah.
I've bought his books.
books are
I've read
amazing.
all of them. They're all amazing.
Same here.
I've read them from start to finish. He's got the skill with his writing to make you feel like, it's like a textbook. You don't want to miss a chapter. You know what I mean? What you call Mathematics Foundation Standard 8. You know how you read that book and you didn't miss any of the chapters. It feels like you're going to be tested on this knowledge. You
Basically,
need to retain
he's able
it.
to simplify complicated political topics and political information or knowledge. And that's what I admire about him. I learned so much from
No,
him.
amazing. So yeah, you were saying.
So I was saying, let's delve into the episode that broke the internet last week, Mr. Floyd Shivambu's episode. What did you think?
Yeah,
I don't know if you watched it.
I watched it.
I had to watch it twice, bro.
Okay,
that was a dope episode. Congratulations, bro. That was amazing.
So I watch and I also listen. So sometimes Podcast and Chill with Mike G, they'll have the audio out first. So I listen to the audio first before I even watch the show. And also another reason why is that sometimes the show that's on YouTube is edited, it's got certain parts taken out, but if you listen to the audio, it's the whole thing raw, you know what I mean? So I like to have the benefit of listening to the audio, and then when I watch it on the live premiere and I see the reactions, I then get to watch it with other people's eyes as well, because if there's 3,000 people that are watching, when I'm reading the live chat comments, they're hearing things that I'm not hearing from a different perspective that I'm not hearing them from, you know what I mean? So now I've got 6,000 ears, including my two, on top of the 6,000 eyeballs that are watching the body language, the responses, and the reactions. You know what I mean? So we've got like 12,000 senses, beaming into this interview. And all I could think
For
about...
the first time on his platform, he had 300,000 views, I think, in 24 hours.
He's doing McG numbers now.
Collective, he's going there. He's almost there.
And people said that if you talk about serious things, you won't get numbers.
That's what they said. Now he's proving all of that to be wrong. And I like the fact that he's proving that podcasts like ours with just clean, good, positive information can get there.
Yeah.
Right? It just takes that consistency in being,
determined.
Determined. And just putting out the content, non-stop discipline, and not folding for anything. Sticking to your guns and sticking to what you believe in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, at some point he had about 5,000 people at the same time.
Yeah, no,
watching.
I was there. That's when I came in.
Bro.
I commented, I was like, "Hey, 5K live! I think this is a record for."
That
the
was
show.
beautiful.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of also Mighty Jamie as well, who's also been a contributor on his show. I recently met Tessa Duams.
I heard Mighty Jamie's Mighty Jamie's dope.
Yeah.
Bro, when I was sitting down, we've been speaking on socials. We've been speaking on maybe we can do a collective interview and I.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Because we've spoken, we just need to make time.
No, I've
and make
spoken
it
to him
happen.
face to face. I've been to a couple MK Party press conferences that he attended.
Mighty
as well, so
Jamie,
we've
amazing
chatted.
content, bro. Amazing content.
Yeah.
Keep it up, bro. You're
And
doing
keep
so
that
well.
lab coat clean.
Yeah. We'll see you soon. You'll be sitting here.
With that lab coat, you know what I mean? We'll do some experiments. So
And also there is another one. Is it the big he's just joined the DA. He's one of the earliest guys to do a political commentary on YouTube in South Africa.
what, Biz News Channel?
No, not business.
It's part of the DA. I wouldn't
He's
know
just
who
joined
he
the
is.
DA. Bengacavu ukuthi uku-politics ve, but
Yeah. So anyway, like...
the Liberty something, man. Big
Oh, yes.
Hold on,
Yes.
Oh, Big Daddy Liberty Show.
Oh,
That's
Big Daddy
the name
Liberty.
of his show, yeah.
Yes, I think I've seen a couple. I'm trying to help you search here. And
Yes, his
already
name is The Big Liberty.
the first thing that comes up on my phone, on my YouTube.
Guys, go subscribe to his platform as well. His platform is called The Big Daddy Liberty Show. And then Mighty Jamie, go search for him on YouTube as well. Go subscribe to his platform as well. That's Mighty Jamie. And the Biz News are doing well as well. I've been following that platform, even State of the Nation.
Yeah,
Incredible political commentary.
So as I was saying about that Floyd Shivambu interview,
Yeah.
and just advice, guys, like if there's a big interview, please don't watch the reactions to the interview before you watch the interview, because they'll taint how you see it.
Yes, because you're listening to other people's opinions
First.
and some of those they're probably just watching clips.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
go
just
watch it yourself.
First,
it's like an artist's album.
Yeah.
When you listen to the reactions, they're gonna taint your own. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
go listen to the album, have your own opinions.
So I watched it. I was ready for it. I was waiting for it. You know what I mean? I set the reminder. I've got the notification. My phone told me that, yo, it's coming. I also noticed that the audio, because Caesar drops the audio after the video, which is unfortunate sometimes. I don't know if he can change that or something.
Yo, I have to give a plug. This plug as well. Guys, go search on YouTube for The King Said So, the Pan-Africanist podcast. Love your content, bro. Thank you. Continue doing your thing. The King Said So. Go search for that one. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, let me search for that one while we're at
subscribe
it. Before
now,
I forget.
Guys, also go subscribe to King Said So. It's an Pan-Africanist podcast. Dope content as well.
And YouTube is already recommending Tutuzane Zuma's clip on the Hustler's Corner.
Because the algorithms and these AIs,
they're listening to our phone.
They can listen to us.
Yeah, so the phone is listening to us. So I was listening for what Floyd did not say. Not for what he said. What he said, I'd already known, because he repeated a lot of the things that he's already said. We've already seen him post, tweet, you know what I mean? He said a lot of these things before, but there's a lot that he did not say, and that was louder for me than anything else. Like, when he was asked about him leaving the EFF, there's a lot he did not say. He gave a measured reasoning as to why. When they asked about him and Julius's relationship, you know, because they had clips doing the rounds when he left the EFF about how they were brothers. It's like, Floyd is like a brother to me. You remember that Julius statement?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, you know, we'd go to each other's weddings, whatever. If Floyd's child, I told him, if something happens to me, then, you know, at least your Uncle Floyd will look after you. So they had, I guess, a very strong personal relationship. So even with him saying, you know, our relationship was purely political, that one could have deduced from the statements that he'd made previously about his decision to leave. So I wasn't too shocked with that, even though he said something to the contrary in the past before. The things that he left out, though, are what actual incidents happened. You know, what was the interactions? What was the engagements? He didn't also name the name of the people that he informed, and for, I guess, good reason, because he didn't want them to be looked at with suspicion. And also they asked not to be named, or that he doesn't say anything about them having prior knowledge of him not renewing his EFF membership.
But don't you think that some people are saying he was intentionally creating divisions in the EFF by saying such and not mentioning names? That everybody else knew except for the president that he was about to leave?
I think that he had to give a satisfactory answer to a question that he was asked. And if he left such information out, it would also then lead to other questions as well. You know, sometimes when you're being interviewed, you need to respect your interviewer enough to give them a satisfactory answer so that they don't continue to probe beyond what you're willing to share. You know what I mean? And you will allow them to know that, okay, this is the limits of what I'm going to say on this, and we can move on to something else. So I think that's what I got from his answer in that instance. But as well, I mean, I got a lot from what he did not say. You know what I mean? He didn't get into dirty details. And I also got a lot from that as well.
But he has to respect. He has to respect their relationship.
Right? Yes, that's what I'm saying.
There's certain things that you don't have to go into detail and explain. Just, you know what I mean?
So to those people...
Because you need to remember they still have a history together.
Yeah, so even to those people who say that, who say what you just said as well, you could say that he could have gone deeper. He could have gone harder. He could have come out guns blazing. You know what I mean? Even with Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, when she spoke about her leaving the party and going back to her family, subsequently then joining the MK party. I mean, that does make sense. She didn't say that I'm going to join my husband, but she said I'm going back to my family. And if her husband is in the MK party, then I guess
but
that
at a later stage, she then mentioned.
Did she?
Yeah, she did mention that, the leader of my household is with MK.
Yes, no, she did mention that already. But we've already known that from the past, even when they were being sworn in to Parliament, when the new 7th Parliament was being sworn in, they were together and they were wearing their different party colors as well. She was wearing her maid's petticoat and he was wearing his MK green.
Don't use that word maid. Usimamane, helper. Say
Hey,
helper.
I know. I mean, not personally, I can't bring myself to say helper because I.
Maid. Maid.
No, but you know what?
It's fine, but not botak.
Well, I mean, I've got a varying opinion on that because I feel like we undignify the work by now stigmatizing the name of the profession. You know what I mean? If you're someone who is cleaning or working in a household, I feel that is dignified work. Coming up, especially when I was very young, a lot of the parents of the children that I went to school with were either working in people's houses as domestics as well, and because they were black, we gravitated towards each other, and we were also in a white-dominated society. And I've seen how it is that children then pick up the traits of their parents of undermining people. And then we euphemize it and then say, helper. And it's like, is this person actually helping you, or are they providing a service that needs to be paid for?
Oh, I hear where you're coming from.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I understand the weight of that word, right? But I also then think that, you know what, maybe sometimes we need to open ourselves to get beyond taking offense and make these words that have been used to bring us down actually what they are and what they mean, so that we destigmatize them. Because certain things, I mean, I saw a child, and it's not about really the race of the child, but it was a colored baby, and they were with the person that's taking care of them. You know what I mean?
For our American audience, black baby.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Black politically, but with mixed race lineage. Let's put it like that. And the baby dropped their bottle, and then the baby put their hands on the hip,
expecting the helper to pick it up.
She did. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what like the attitudes that are now there. And for me, like, colored is black as well. You know what I mean? I guess there are also colored people that work in people's homes as well. And there's lots of people that are professionals today, that are accountants, that are, actuaries, whose parents worked in people's houses, who either did the garden or did some sort of domestic work. And we cannot rob them of the dignity of the service that they put in. There's a meme of this old man standing in front of his house, and it's such a beautiful house with his wife. You know what I mean? The flowers and everything else, right? And then there's a picture of him standing by himself after his wife's passed away, and the house is decrepit. And someone then commented, now you see what happens when you can't exploit free labor. And when we take away the dignity from the work that people do, we actually fail to see the beauty, because the people that look after households make sure that those households retain their value. People always brag about how their properties have retained value. The reason why your property has got such a high value is because your grass is well cut. When the real estate agents from wherever puts in that sign in well manicured gardens, you know what I mean, with trimmed hedges and everything else,
landscaping,
that it looks good, right?
Yeah.
That retains the value of your property.
The paint job,
it's worth much more than you're paying for that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That person is usually paid very little. And I've also been very upset at people who also underpay the people that work within their households. I can't really afford to pay someone like an exorbitant salary, so I would rather reduce the amount of time that they work. But I mean,
so they can get another hustle and make that
yeah,
money elsewhere.
Yeah, so once a week you can come to me, and for that once a week, right now I've been paying $350 per day, and from 8 in the morning until 2 p.m. Also so that, if they're using taxis especially, they go to the taxis before it's peak time and traffic time, and they have to stand in lines. They can get home as well if they have to prepare for their kids. If they get home by 4 p.m., at least they can take care of their kids as well, whatever they need to do do homeworks, and then by 6 p.m. or later, they can cook for their families as well. So I also think about the time. So from 8 to 2 p.m. is the amount of time that I expect someone who's going to be working at my place to work. And I also don't pay them less just because there's food provided as well. The food being provided, lunch, I don't make it as part of the salary. You know what I mean? I feel like within whatever their daily rate is, they should also be able to get themselves a meal if they need to. But should they not need to get a meal, there's groceries there, and they'd still need to cook that meal. So that's also another level of labor. So when someone is working from 8, 9, 10, they take a break, 11, they get back to it, 12, 1, 2, they're leaving. I think like for me, that's fair. It's more than minimum wage as
Plus,
well.
you're alone, so it's not a lot of washing.
It's small.
The house is not always dirty because
Yeah,
you're alone.
yeah.
You hardly ever
I
people
can do it.
over.
Yeah, you know what I mean. All of those types of things. So that.
But by the way, don't forget to go back to the Floyd episode.
No. That's what I'm going to.
But you have offering peace NOTA besa umbuyisi bese thina samele ukuthi aqedelele le handaba wena so offering peace ngiyaxolisa sure.
No problem. So we were speaking about the labor that is put in, that work, that unpaid labor, and similar to someone who works in someone's household, like as a domestic, there's a lot of unpaid labor that it takes to bring about certain ideas, to organize. You know what I mean? And for what I've seen, right, with all the criticism that people have of Floyd and his departure from the EFF, the first time I saw Floyd in MK colors, like live, Begamiso, he was fixing tablecloths. He was the maid of the MK. You know what I mean? And
the national organizer,
making sure that the household is well presented. You know what I mean?
I once heard a clip of Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi talking about back in the day the role that Abobab Sisulu played, Nabotatu Mandela, about the servant leadership concept, and him talking about when you guys get here and this event is already full, we were the first here. We are the ones that put up all these chairs. We are the ones that put, it's about service. So sometimes I call it leadership when I'm way is cool. No, it's about serving.
So with all of that in mind, for me, I look at that interview and I feel like for me it seemed truly honest. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he went there on a mission to destroy anyone. I think that he went there on a mission to answer certain questions, and some questions are difficult. Some of them are bitter pills to swallow. He gave up on a movement that he birthed. You know what I mean? He was in that labor ward, you know what I mean, pushing. He was the one feeling those contractions for the EFF to come about. He midwifed the organization. He put it together. He was there from the conception stages. He's also contributed to other organizations as well. And this has been part of his progress as a political player. And he felt that his skills could be better utilized by the EFF, by the MK party. And for me, I feel like it shouldn't be a loss for the EFF that they now have that vacancy where someone else can grow into that position, right? Without the bias of having long-held institutional knowledge. Many companies, you founded companies yourself. You've also observed companies. Sometimes they die because the founder did not let go. You know what I mean? He brought it to where he could bring it to, where his skills could bring it to, right? And it was then time to allow other people to take it further. And he didn't do that. So he has not had that fate befall him. He did not decline within the EFF. And the contribution that he gave to the EFF, which is something that he spoke about, is that, he has the experience of founding an organization from scratch, which Ubab Jacob Zuma does not have. He's only learning. In fact, he's very new at that. Whereas Floyd has founded an organization from scratch and brought it to 10 years of existence while growing. within its growth trajectory. I mean, the EFF is 11 years old now, and some of us still remember when the EFF was being founded. Some of us still remember when they were expelled from the ANC, and
Yo,
Floyd
I remember that
left the
meeting when
ANC
Cyril
Youth
was
League.
announcing. I was sitting in the car at the parking lot of the Virgin Active by Greyston back in the day when they were being expelled. Yo, that was an emotional period. You remember that?
I remember it very well. I watched it as well.
Anyway,
I was keenly following that, and I remember that Julius was expelled. Floyd was suspended for 5 years. You know what I mean? He could have still gone back into the ANC, and he chose to assist Julius in this crazy mission to establish a party that is going to redefine the politics of South Africa, and it has done so. You know what I mean? To the point where, for a number of big parties, it is enemy number one. Like the DA says, and the EFF is their enemy number one. And I guess he could be proud of that, because what the DA represents, which is capitalist neoliberals, it's the polar opposite of what the EFF presents, and therefore their natural enemy should be the EFF. You know what I mean? Just on ideology perspective. So I think he said a lot. He didn't say a lot. He left a lot unsaid, and I feel that also showed a lot of maturity. Because the SMWX platform is big now, so that if you say something, that's going to go everywhere. It's either a lawsuit is coming, it's either SABC is going to be talking about it for an entire week. On Twitter, everyone's going to be talking about it. The clips are going to be circulating on TikTok. They're going to be breaking it down on YouTube. All the political analysts are now going to get 10,000 views minimum just talking about that interview from SMWX. So
here we are. We're talking about it.
10,000 views. Thank you. Thank you, Sizwe. Siyabonga. So, with that said, I think, yeah, man, I can't fault him. I can't fault Floyd for anything that he said on that interview. And also, I'm very happy with what he left unsaid in that interview.
I liked when he spoke about how Ubaba understood certain things that a lot of people didn't understand in the country, and how he said they were taken advantage of and were wrongly mobilized to go up against Ubaba. And also, when he speaks about the collective goal as black people, and Mr. Julius Malema has said this before, that together the ANC, the EFF, the MK party, you can even mention other small parties, collectively they make up 2/3 majority and more, right? And it's incredible how he gives you a little bit of that insight about what Ubaba says about black people's struggle in the country and the importance of black people uniting. Even though these are different political parties, you can still play a role, but it is, as they say, the progressive caucus, right? But ultimately, our struggle is similar. It's the same. We can't just be many small parties, just like what the enemy wanted, to just break us apart. So then it's easier to divide and conquer us. I loved those sentiments as well. What other things did I like from the interview? I liked when he...
Well, I mean, just to add context to that, he said those discussions started in October 2023.
Yeah.
With Ubaba. And
Last
the party was only launched December 16.
Yeah.
The elections were at the end of May 2024. He left the EFF 2 months after the elections as well, after the EFF decided to accept the results, which were contested by the MK party, So I think that when he said all of those things about needing to form a united front, Ubaba also spoke about that when the results were being announced and when the results were being challenged by a lot of the other smaller parties. And Umam Colleen Makubele from SARA, she also spoke under SARA at the time and said that Ubaba has become like a father to all of the smaller parties, and he welcomed all of them. And if you saw how that press conference went, Ubaba knew that the media was there to hear from him. But the thing that he did is that he gave all the smaller parties first a platform to speak first about their objections and their contestations of the way the IEC was running the elections. So I think that is also important context on that. You know what I mean? For some people that maybe have not even seen that or watched that, so that they understand. When he's speaking about the engagements that they had with Ubaba, Ubaba was not just offering a platform for Floyd himself to come and join the MK party, but he offered a platform for a united front for parties that favor the interests of, in the main, Black Africans and in general, poor South Africans. Yeah.
My only criticism of him would be hitting at Julius, which I think. I think he hit at Julius, but he was more not subtle, but it wasn't like big blows when he was talking about gangster revolutionarism and about calling people and moving into the politics of insulting people. He talks about that, which I think that was a direct jab at Julius. Although I do agree with him that we need to inspire the new generation of younger politicians to not make that a sort of a trend, to
culture,
insult people, because that's not politics.
Well, I don't think
let's deal with politics of ideas.
Yeah, but for me, what I heard from that is that he was talking about calling the voters stupid for not voting for the party, insulting people that did not vote for the party. Like, if you do not vote for us, it means, people are crazy, right?
I heard that.
Yes.
But he also mentioned...
Yeah, no, I know that the gangster loyalty, like, the brotherhood of gangsterism. Yes.
But also just even the insults that some of our politicians have gotten accustomed to lately. Because it's not only President Julius Malema. It's a whole lot of other politicians whom I might say probably a lot of them might have been inspired by him. I'm talking about the younger politicians, because you hear it when you watch some of the videos of the student movements in different universities, when they hail insults and they...
But that's Julius' style.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's Julius' style.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He was saying politics is more than just that. Let's focus more on the politics of ideology, as opposed to being insulting the man, as opposed to the actual politics
talking about
of
people's
ideas.
physical appearances, their health. Yeah, and I also said the same thing. Like, I was very angry when people who were critical of Julius, like, I don't know, there was a picture of him, and I don't know, the picture was just like, maybe either it was badly edited or whatever, but the comments, people were talking about his health and commenting, and I commented, I was like, you know what, for me, it's like a mixed moment, because I've seen him comment on people's health, but I hope that he sees in what's happening right now that this is what he's inspiring, because now he's now the victim of it. You know what I mean? People always comment, you know what I mean? I get it a lot. People, they talk about my mental health. Oh, go to Vescopis and all those types of things. And yeah, that is, I guess, has been I guess they call it being robust. But that's not being robust, it's being insulting. And for Floyd, it's much easier to not resort to insults, because he's a very articulate guy. He's
brilliant. He's too intelligent. I can listen to that guy speak the whole day.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
I could too.
He's amazing. Bro.
I could too. So that's the thing. So if for someone who knows how to speak that well, it's very easy to not have to make overt, like insults. You can insult someone nicely in such a dignified manner that some people would not be able to tell. They call it being tactful.
Yeah, so you can still package your message in a tactful manner, as you're saying, and it still lands. And sometimes it can even have a bigger blow than someone who goes in robustly.
No, I'll tell you, I've learned this from personal experience. You know what I mean? Just from trolling people, you know what I mean? Sometimes we go back and forth, and it's all fun in games, you know what I mean? But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that
what you put out there will come back to bite you too.
Yeah, not only just that. on top of that is that a lot of older people watch and listen to my content. And there's something about older people. Our parents do not take kindly to anyone that insults people.
Because it's not within our culture. Snobuntu, South Africans, you know what I mean? We've just been brought up like that. You know, and I understand in politics there's just that thing you could no, don't be an ageist.
No, but it's not even just
These
in
are
politics. This is in social media. I'm talking about me being guilty of it myself. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, when I speak to older people, let me put it like that. I'd say my parents, but they're not really my parents. They're just my parents'
Your
age.
elders.
Yeah. Abantu abadala. I'm trying to explain it because we've got a global audience and sometimes they don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
If I say, when I speak to my parents, and I'm not actually speaking about my parents, I'm speaking about people my parents' age. But here in South Africa at home, anyone that's your parents' age is your parent. You know what I mean? So, but when I speak to my parents in general, you know, and when we discuss Julius, there's one thing that they all agree on. You know, and you know, even my mother would say, "Hey, mntanam ungabi nenhlamba." You know, and when my mother said that to me, I was like, damn. When I've heard older people say that about Julius, it's an unforgivable sin. You know, it takes a lot to repair your image if you've been described by our parents as umuntu nenhlamba.
But now, NOTA, nenhlamba.
Yeah, I know.
And thank you for taking accountability.
Yeah.
Because you have to move better. I sat down with you 2 years ago and you said you're going to move presidentially. You're not going to stoop down so low. Yes, I know we troll sometimes, right? You troll and all of that. But stay away from all of that, bro. Like move the way you wanted to move, as you did say 2 years ago. Be presidential.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. So, you know, that's something that one works on. And one is also trying not to be triggered by things that people say because abantu banenhlamba.
And I know. So, and a lot of the times you become like that because mhlambu thugiwe.
Yeah.
But learn, like sometimes observe people like me. I'm not saying I'm better. Or
No, you are.
But just observe how we sometimes treat negativity.
You've helped me a lot. You've helped me a lot with that. You know what I mean?
They call it emotional intelligence. You know what I mean?
You've helped me a lot with that because like even like I saw one of your videos once where like you were saying, "Hey, ningang tuga, it's fine." And I was like, "Okay, why were you inviting them to swear? Because that's not gonna help." You know, you're telling them, "No, keep it calm." And I was like, that's not gonna help. But sometimes by the time you respond to that one person that maybe doesn't say something that offensive, but now you fielded maybe 20 insults of the most egregious nature. And then this one just ticks you off and then you get into that. Like, I don't want to end up being described the way I've heard my parents describing Julius when he's at his, let's say, most tactless. Let me put it like that. So let me also give him the grace of ungabi nenhlamba when I'm making that critique. You know what I mean? So the knee-jerk reaction, I also understand as well. Coming from someone who's done that before, it's like you don't even think about it. You know what I mean? It's like popping those bubble wraps. You know, that's I served violence.
It's like a road rage incident. Just ignore it and keep it moving.
You know,
because it just takes 2 seconds for you to forget about it.
Yeah. So with road rage, I mean, you know that you can get shot,
triggered, and you can lose
shot.
your life. Yeah.
Yeah. But on social media, you don't think of it like road rage because it's like, you know, it's on the phone, you scroll past, and then all of a sudden you're laughing at some video that's trending on TikTok and you've even forgotten about it. But our parents don't forget. They make that note and say, lo unenhlamba. And it's going to take a lot of maturity for him to change that image. You know what I mean? I'm 34. I'm old now. I cannot be forgiven for certain things because singimdala. You know, I'm supposed to be an example for my younger brothers as well. You know what I mean? So on my part, that's the biggest job that I have to do. That's the biggest thing that I need to chisel away from my character, is to get away from anyone ever being able to say, "Hayi, ngiyamthanda kodwa unenhlamba. Uhlakaniphile kodwa unenhlamba." That destroys everything. You can have off the chart IQ, you can have all the degrees in the world, you can have the biggest mansions and everything else. But once umuntu omdala says unenhlamba, I mean, even you feel that in your soul that, yo, there's no way this person will ever respect me. I cannot buy their love, And that for me was the thing that I feel like was the biggest criticism of Julius. And even though he has not used that against Floyd actively, the supporters as well who've been trained on this behavior, and I understand where it comes from as well, because coming as a small party that's got no chance, all the media insults you, everyone insults you, they call you this, they call you that, they call you enemy number one. You know what I mean?
Your defense mechanisms are
high. So I understand it because I've got empathy, because I've gone through it, maybe not to the same extent because he's on a political platform and that's more criticism to him because, he's got effect to influence the policy of the country. Yeah, man. I guess this is for myself as well, but more importantly for myself. But even for people like Julius and others that are observing him and what we do is like, let us not gain that type of reputation with our parents. It's just, it takes us further away from our culture. And this is what we started this episode about the sentiment of this country. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we're so angry that we give ourselves every excuse to be vulgar.
Let's move to hip hop. Maybe that'll be our last topic. I know we've been at it, but let's start in the US. Maybe we can be in the. Maybe we can just off ramp a bit to the SA. But Little Durk's indictment last week. Little Durk is the guy who put on King Von, who passed in 2020. King Von, as he's known on the internet as the rapping serial killer, who's had a couple of bodies. Some of you guys do know guys who
the one who had beef with Young Boy Never Broke Again.
Yeah, and
never go broke again, or never, yeah.
NBA Young Boy. He also had beef with FBG Duck, right? Who was murdered in broad daylight in the most expensive part of Chicago.
Yeah, beef with the mother as well.
Yeah, the mother of FBG Duck. Because the mother's also very vocal on the internet. My man, okay,
I'm not dissing. I'm not dissing, but I won't lie. I'm 34, and
I'm 45.
I needed to study this. I'm a 2000.
Hey, you must keep up.
Hey, yasala.
So King Von was murdered because he got out of that hookah club. Or
I watched the video. I saw the
hookah
video.
Lounge. Yeah, I think the video trended was all over the world. Trying to punch Condorondo, one of Condorondo's friends, shot King Von. King Von died. About a year or a year and a half, if not 2 years later, after King Von's death, after they've investigated the case, they found out that King Von had put a price on FBG Duck's head to buy these guys to go kill him. And they've got cameras and everything. They went to court, and those guys had been tried. I think they're called the old Block 6 or something. Anyway, they're in jail now, right? So,
where's Chief Keef in all of this mess?
Chief Keef started this drill rap thing. I don't know.
He exited.
He's probably chilling in LA somewhere.
First, he said, you know what?
And I think that's what Lil Durk was starting to do. He just got a key to the city. He was giving back. He was doing a lot of good things that you can see. And he's got about, I think, 6 kids or something, if not more, right? So Chief
Keef linked up with Kanye.
Is it?
Early. Even did some features together.
Actually, Kanye put Chief Keef on.
I know.
Because Kanye comes from Chicago. He gave him a feature.
I know, but I'm just saying, look at all these Chicago kids.
At the prime of his rap career, Kanye.
Little Durk went to go with Drake.
Yeah, Drake. So
yabona ukuthi Grootman, your job is important.
It's very important. Yes.
Chief Keef.
That's why I'm Kuza now at presidential. It's true though. It's true though, because my mother says that too.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys are brilliant at what you do.
Yeah.
For some reason, and then when she starts asking me this, she's not heard you.
Yeah.
Any of that. She's not on Twitter. And but then she heard when she speaks about us.
Yeah.
And then other people, then they comment about you, then they drag stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Let me just wrap this one up. And then this guy, books a flight to I think Italy. He also booked a flight to Dubai. He doesn't take those flights. He misses. I don't know. He misses them or just whatever happens. And then he books a private jet to go to Italy. And then in the States, nangabe balobele ba-investigate nama case, ama-feds, ama-FBI. Bakhona ukuthi bakuflege kuwo wonke ama-airport ukuthi the day ubhook ama-flight bakhona ukubona ukuthi hey ngathi le izama ukubaleka, you know? And that's when they pounce on him, ukumbamba. And but the charge is murder for hire. And as they're saying, because the court case is not there yet, it just kwenzeka lento last week, is the murder of Autira Kondo Rondo.
And the attempted murder of Kondo Rondo.
And the attempted murder of Kondo Rondo. And apparently he was also he's somehow linked, I don't know how true that is, to that O Block 6.
Yeah, those are his ops.
That's another murder for hire also, yeah. That was...
Because he's on the OTF.
Yeah, OTF. That was called by King Von. King Von, who's no longer around, was his artist who put him on. And King Von was in Twanaseka Dublana, I think.
And what did we say when we sat, yourself, myself and Penwell at Kliko? What did I say that day? I said Jay-Z at the top of the game cannot come down from where he is. Akuze Lindwan. I said hip-hop is dead because of that. We've got killers that are now the face of hip-hop.
True. It's scary though, eh? These are killers, bro.
When I spoke to El Tito
there's a 3-hour King Von documentary, The Rapping Serial Killer. I think it's by some guy called Treplo Ross from the UK.
I follow him well.
Sure.
That's where I know all the people from.
Facts. And it's like, Joe.
And Yazi Ingamla are fascinated by this because it doesn't affect their community. It's not like these guys are killing white people. It's us killing each other. And I said that we had this conversation 3 years ago. And I said, I'm scared for hip-hop. I'm removing myself because I'm seeing that the people that are the leaders of where hip-hop is are not doing anything. The only thing I can do is ukuza intwana ezingayi, like the ones that I can see. And I said it on El Tito's podcast. I said, listen, if this culture that we're importing from America, when we're celebrating all of this Americanness, we're celebrating a Nasty C, great rapper, talented kid, since the age of 14. You know what I mean? Since the age of 15 when I first met him in Durban. You know what I mean? Or even when he was older and I drove from Nelspruit to Durban at night in a rush just to meet him. This is before anyone knew who he was. The amount of effort that was being put in to see this kid because of how talented he was. You know what I mean? This is the type of effort that's put in. You drive from Nelspruit to Durban and you'll know that's the type of effort that one puts in to do that. You know what I mean? And I drove the whole way. So I was like, I cannot encourage this. As much as everyone's like, no, but why don't you support these kids the way? Because I'm like, I'm looking at where they're getting this culture from. And then I'm seeing the effects if this culture then gets adopted by the kids that live next to me in Alex, that live next to me in Diepsloot, that live next to me in Cosmo City, that live next to your mom, Etembisa, that live next to my grandmother, Esoweto, that live next to Nasty's family, Elovo, KZN, that live next to Pro Kids family, Elamontville. You know what I mean? That live next to Zawe's family. You know what I mean? Guamashu. You know what I mean? That live Mlaz. That live next to Youngster CPT in Philippi, in the Cape Flats in general. If we're importing that type of culture, this drill movement, when I saw Casper as well, jumping into this drill, and I'm like, Casper is too influential to jump into this drill because this drill comes with
a lot of negative energy, bro.
The lifestyle.
Yo, this drill is dangerous. In fact, when I started learning about this thing, I was like shocked. I was blown away. I was shocked.
Because all the music...
Is this what rap has become now?
It's about... No, these are just killers. These are serial killers.
End up on the mic.
These are...
crimes.
It's Moses Itola in the studio. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's what's that guy? Jeffrey Dahmer in the studio. Because now Netflix does a documentary on this serial killer, all of a sudden he's got fans. The crime channels are some of the top channels that are being watched on streaming thing, platforms on satellite television, on cable, the crime channels, the biggest podcasts and everything. We're 5 minutes over time, Papa.
Is it?
I will call you back.
Quickly, last month or 2 months back, but you base busy Mr. Disrespectful. Yes, Philadelphia. So I'm like, let us say Chicago.
Yes, I saw that one.
America,
So, but forget Mr. Disrespectful. Just before Mr. Coolio.
Fulio, bro. Fulio.
Yeah. How do we know these people?
In Florida. Shana my AK-47.
He was killed in Tampa.
In Tampa, yeah.
You know what I mean?
At a Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Outside the Holiday Inn.
And he's from, like, I think he's from from Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood Beach area.
No,
you know, or
from...
Dover County, yeah. Not
no,
yeah. Outside of Broward County.
And before that, it was Big Juke. Angela Simmons.
I don't know.
Big Juke, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Young Dolph?
No.
Not Young Dolph?
Young Dolph.
Yeah.
They called a hit on him by Big Juke.
Yes.
Big Juke
Come on, guys.
The youngsters
the guy who was behind Young Dolph's passing?
Big Juke.
YG.
But Big Juke was killed.
It's not YG?
Also. No, it's not YG. Angela Simmons, man.
Or the ex Angela Simmons. But yeah. Okay,
no,
yeah.
not the ex, but it's a piece now, no.
Okay, no, cool. I'll Google it. But
and
yeah, you were saying.
Continue, yeah.
You were saying.
No, man.
I'm Googling it.
Offside, then Big Juke.
How you
brother. Big Juke, brother.
CMG.
Yeah, CMG Kamale company.
Money Bag Yo.
Money Bag Yo.
That's the guy.
No, not Money Bag Yo, man.
Yeah. Yo Gotti.
Thank you. Sure.
And they just got the
and then
killers.
I'm googling this thing. I'm like, oh.
A movie.
That's why I discovered it. Movie in real life, in real time.
You know what the fascination is like? It's like in the 90s, the late 90s, when the mafia bosses started getting released. Not here, but from the States. When the mafia bosses started getting released after being in jail since the 70s and 80s, you know, when the RICO was first introduced, I think the Gambino trial as well with John Gotti, you know, for the Gambino crime family. We would have fascination with this mafioso thing. You know what I mean? This, Scarface, the movie, did more than Scarface, the rapper, to me. Still, that ain't the blame for all the stuff that happened to me. Yeah. Are you hearing what I'm spitting? You know what I mean?
And then repeat to Chiga.
Yeah.
Scarface did to me more than the movie.
Yeah. So now these rappers have taken that Jay-Z said, because when the rappers just rap it, but now they've reenacted it.
Because it's the fans. The fans are saying you're not real enough.
And now it's a movie.
So then said, oh, I'm still real enough. King.
Now this movie is doing what Scarface the movie did to him. Scarface the movie did more than Scarface the rapper to me. So now the scene of drill, the lifestyle of drill is like a movie now. And we're now living vicariously through people who have been corrupted morally to the extent that they've got no value for human life.
I'm smoking on NOTA, huh?
Imagine.
I'm smoking on Tuka.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Abo Meli.
I'm a fan of slide for voice.
Free Meli. Why is Meli in jail? No, he killed his homies. So why are we saying free Meli? You understand what I'm saying? So a whole lot is happening. And with all this that's happening, then we're also hearing now that Tory Lanez. And you know, it's so sad what happened to Tory Lanez, because, you know, there's...
If it's true what he's saying now.
Well, what they're saying that they don't...
His lawyer was affiliated to Rock Nation.
It's true. That is true. Yeah, that is unequivocal fact, because they were part of a movie that was being done by Rock Nation. She's worked on behalf of Rock Nation. But that doesn't mean that what he's saying about her sabotaging him and it being a conflict of interest is true, because maybe they weren't working at the same time. And, you know, there's a client confidentiality as well. So it will still need to be tested in court. But she was affiliated with Rock Nation. She did also work with Desiree Perez. And he's saying that she declined to...
Desiree Perez, they say she's an informer, right?
She is an informer, that is true.
Because she spoke against
she was pardoned by
some
Trump.
Cartel.
She was pardoned by Donald Trump in exchange for Jay-Z never endorsing the Democrats again, personally. So that's why it was Beyonce that went onto that stage and reading off the teleprompter. Even though we
I
know that
didn't know.
Beyonce is not the best spokesperson for anything in general. You know what I mean?
Even nespinza. Like akubhilive ukuthi uyasishaya lesa spinza.
You know what I mean? She's not the best spokesperson. And just in general, like for me, I would not like to see Beyonce being political because I think that she's got more to lose than to gain.
I agree.
The politicians get to gain from having her endorsement. But her personally, the amount of criticism that she'll get from people, I mean, Republicans buy tickets too. Have you seen the Taylor Swift?
They can be very unforgiving. But to punish Jeff Bezos is all.
Imagine.
You know Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post.
I know.
Ne?
Yeah, I know.
200,000 unsubscribed.
Yes, because he refused.
People who had subscribed 3 days ago.
He refused.
Yeah.
And, you know, I see this a lot. I also subscribe to State of the Nation. With, I forgot the name of the guy.
I forgot the name of the host. Incredible content.
Mike, I think it's Mike.
Incredible content, Mike.
Sham.
We appreciate the content and
Thank
we watch
you, Mike
it.
Sham. But what I've realized when I read the comments is that most of the people that comment and subscribe to his page are DA supporters. So anytime he'll say anything or have someone that will criticize the DA, they will destroy that person when they come onto the platform. You know what I mean? So also, you know, that bias that comes in, that echo chamber that you now start creating when you build a fan base around a certain political ideology can come back to bite you. You know, Beyonce, she's a mother of 3, right? Her talking about promoting abortion. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, because that's the political ideology that the Democrats are pushing. Now that's what she has to speak about. And because they're writing a speech for her. And also because she's not that politically astute, she's not able to say, hey, I'm a mother of 3. I can speak about every other policy except this one. You know what I mean? Because I know that it will come back to bite me. It's as if our culture, just in general, and I just want to link it back to where we started and we're speaking about hip-hop and hip-hop culture, and R&B forms part of hip-hop as well because it's part of the subcultures musically. We are not politically educated. You know what I mean? As black people. And black is a political identity. It's not a genetic identity. You know what I mean? We all have our different genetic makeups. You know, yes, we've all got the Eve gene here. You know what I mean? All of us who are fully melanated don't have any Neanderthal in us, whatever. And we're 99.99999% all the same. But black as a political identity, you know what I mean, from those of us who understand the politics of Marcus Garvey and Pan-Africanism in general and the unity of Africans, especially in the diaspora, who come from different parts of the African continent. We're lacking that. One of the first episodes that we did together, I spoke about how we've discredited Mama Miriam Makeba and how she liberated us. And in so doing, we've also removed the responsibility of our artist community to actually speak to the politics of our people. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali is another person. Now, what would Muhammad Ali say if he was still alive about what's happening right now in south side of Chicago? You know what I mean? Something Kanye said. He talked about something, a number of people died in Iraq. 509 died in Chicago. You know what I mean? Freeing Larry Hoover, the Free Larry Hoover concert. You know what I mean? And talking about how he would not get involved in the violence in the community and actually would speak peace because they took away all the OGs. And that's why the...
Because laba ba revenge labayana labana bafuna ukurevenge back to labana bafuna ukurevenge njengalento eyenzakala eMiddle East ukuthi no, we've got a right to defend us. Said no, we are responding. Kanti ba responda into ukuthi iqalwe yibo nalabana bathi nabo, you know, like
it never ends.
Propaganda and it never ends and you're confused. And now you watch these kids, it's like laba ba revenge nalaba ba revenge. Ngapha lo young in Ace ngathi bathi yo keep number yale ntwana ufule khule ukuthi ishawe mara urepa ngaraide ngathi baba fascinated ukurepa ngathi as if sometimes noma lo muntu bangayibizanga leyo number or bangambulalanga mara bafuna ukusima as if so that emculweni wabo that they attractive to
they
the
can
audience.
Look authentic. Now imagine if that comes ekas.
Yo ngasho kanjalo Nota yo itril ngazwala ngayi.
Just imagine. So for everyone that always criticizes me and saying, "What? But why are you so critical of these new young rappers that are coming up in South Africa?" That's why. That is why. Because I know what is at stake. I've walked through the hoods in Florida. Me, now myself, I've walked through them. And the only reason I was able to walk is because I'm a South African. I don't know anybody there. When they see me, when they hear me speaking, I speak with my South African accent. They're like, okay, he's not from here. He's not about what we're about. Okay, it's fine. It's Simiek. That's the only reason I was able to walk. But it was a ghost town. There were people inside their houses where I was walking. It was a ghost town. Nobody. I didn't see anybody. There's no one. As if it's a ghost town, as if no one is there.
Same thing nase Philadelphia. Ngeke ngabukela enye documentary lentwana le ngitshela
Yes.
Mr. Disrespectful.
I watched that as well.
Avane nyengamla
Yeah,
kanje.
I saw
It's a
that as
ghost
well.
town,
It's a ghost town. Everyone's staying indoors.
eMtee boy. Abanye basezindlini.
The only time you see people is when gunshots are going off and the cars are speeding away.
What type of life is that though, bro?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
What type of culture?
The level of degeneracy. And this is the culture that hip-hop has encouraged.
This is what hip hop has become.
So when I get home and I'm complaining about breakfast, not having breakfast, and my mother's rushing to church, I'm like to my dad, because he has Itamalam. Itamalam is such a softie when it comes to my mom. I'm like, so like he really, like umkap. That's it. You just had porridge for breakfast. My dad, he doesn't mind, you know what I mean? He doesn't mind. He's cool. He's chilled, He had porridge for breakfast even as a grown man on a Sunday. And I look across and I see him reading the Sunday Times lifestyle section. On the cover page is, who is that other guy who used to write? Bongani something. He wrote the Brenda Fassie.
Oh, no, Bongani Matondo.
That's it. Article.
Incredible writer.
About Diddy. And you must know that as a child, all I used to tell my dad is about, Daddy, when I grow up, I want to be Puff Daddy. Daddy, when I grow up, I'm going to be Puff Daddy. Daddy, when I grow up, I'm going to be Puff Daddy. Since I was a kid. The first time I was ever interviewed as a kid, when I was in the Sunday World, first thing I told them about is like, when I grow up, I'm going to be Puff Daddy and Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I mean? That's my hero. So that's what my father knows, that if you hear the name Puff Daddy, that's my son's hero. Since he was a kid, he's been talking to me about Puff Daddy his whole entire life. And he's reading that article on the lifestyle section. He didn't page. When he was done reading, he passed over the paper to me. I saw him reading it and I was embarrassed that he's reading that. And I'm sitting there and I'm just and then why beg it and just put it like, he didn't say anything. My dad has not spoken to me about Puff Daddy since all of this thing has come out. He's never said a word. He hasn't uttered one word. And I know he sees what's going on because my dad tells me that, I was watching YouTube with your mother. Yeah, I was watching YouTube with your mother. You know what I mean? And Bona, they don't allow televisions in the bedroom. You know what I mean? So my mother, she's got an iPhone. Her children made sure she's got an iPhone, so at least they can watch YouTube in the bedroom. So that's what they watch. So my dad has been watching a lot of YouTube, and that's why he learns a lot about what's going on. You know what I mean? Also, the algorithm serves them a lot of this stuff. Also, from watching us, YouTube also then sees similar content and then recommends stuff to them. So they are also now getting up to date. Now that we speak about this, YouTube, after they watch it, is going to show them what happened to Fulio, what happened to this one, what happened to this one, what happened. They're going to go down the rabbit hole and they're going to be informed on what's happening with this hip-hop culture. Now there's a young 13, 14-year-old who's rapping. He's talented. He writes well. He's getting 80% in English.
Kane Kid.
He's got A's in English. His English teacher likes his creative writing skills. But he wants to be a rapper. Now, my mother's fear about me loving music so much was that this music thing doesn't have money, so you'll be poor. That has changed. This music thing is for murderers. That's what our hip-hop culture is.
Khona nyabathi happy trigger tay. Na ishayikani nedumbe ezi9. Khona nyabathi ababulala bangaka.
Imagine that's CV yakhe leyo.
And ba
That's the CV.
I got 9 bodies, man. I'm saying, yo.
Imagine that. So that is
sometimes I believe with qiniso writing.
And that's the thing.
That's mine ukuzipayisa.
But then you go to Traplo Ross, akubonisa ukuthi no, Ivan.
Ayivundulula mfana uTraplo. Oh.
You know what I mean? Now uthi uyamphikisa khona athi no, nayi file mfana, nayi evidence, nayi here's the police report, here's the what. This guy went to this school, he did this, he was suspended from school.
Chicago 88.
Imagine that.
is it Chicago Scene 88 or Chicago 88? Nayo same njengoChaplo Rose ishama documentary and yona ke yase Chicago. Yona specialize ngokugeleza ama police reporter phuma eriding government court. Ayikhuluma my opinion wayo Ramavi ilanda ama police report. Yo.
So
I'm like musanganyiwa lapha. Lentona ziyabulalana zirape lentona le.
That's why I don't want that culture to come here. That's why I don't want the Usimamane. I mean, okay, Blackie. No, I don't need to.
I'm a Kane Kid.
He makes nice.
You know, I always
music.
plug you. Bro.
I've heard people talk about Kane Kid. Yeah, but I've watched. It's
a problem. The boy is the future.
I didn't get to see him because there was another one
on stage.
There was a girl.
Stage. Back to
no, there was a girl that I saw. I think there was a girl that was on stage, skinny and short. That I saw. That was a new kid. As well.
What's her name?
I don't know then. I didn't hear the
If
names.
you heard the Back to the City, guys, please plug us on the comment section.
Yeah, so huh?
No, not Kane Kid, the girl. Is she called K Kid? Or K and then Kid? Oh, dope. Thank you. Let me follow her.
That's why I'm confused, man. Man, you're saying confused.
Kane Kid, Omjita.
Yeah, so we know K Kid. We know K Kid. That's the girl.
Kid. Oh, okay.
So K Kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also, like, there was more than the main stage, yes? When you didn't go to the other places as well. I went to the other places. In Zuli, Apex to the city. I went to everywhere.
Yeah.
I even watched P. Carter when he was playing at the bottom. There was another section there by the flea market stalls where the people were selling clothes and everything. I mean, I went everywhere.
What is the Instagram? It's K.Keed. Oh, okay. K.Keed. Thank you for plugging me. I'm going to start following her now.
You see? So you saw one youngin. I saw another youngin.
I've been following that youngin, sure.
Oh, you've been. Oh,
he does an intro to my morning show.
Oh, but that's the thing. Because when you said, I didn't maybe hear you properly. But I was like, oh, this is the youngin that Smuda was talking about. And it's a girl. So I was like, oh, but it's a girl. So, okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she is. Oh, she's got a song with Nasty? Wow. The song is called, she says here, 24 featuring Nasty C out now. Guys, go follow her. Ne? It's K.Keed. K-Keed.
Yeah,
let me follow her. This is dope, man.
Yeah, okay? So that's who I found. So I thought it was you were talking about that person.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were talking about
I'm talking about Kane, as in Kane.
And he's a guy.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, no, it's like, hey, no, man, Usbuda, what was he meaning? This guy, because I'm seeing, this is a girl. So, like, they've got similar names. So, okay, we are confused. But even so, these young kids that are coming up right now, I don't want them to be discouraged because they feel like they need to be gangster and real killers. This is what I was saying about Nessie. I was like, when Nessie tries to transition into making it in America and he wants to leave South Africa and America, the only kids that are making it in America are killers. So is he going to now become a killer? No, he's not a killer. So he'll never be able to make it there. And that's how they've gate-kept the American rap scene. You need to be a killer. You need to have indictments. You need to have charges. You need to have spent time in prison. I mean, look at them. The only ones who've never spent time in prison is Drake and Kanye. And Chance the Rapper. You know what I mean? They're very few and far between. Lil Baby, Da Baby, has a body at Walmart on camera. You know what I mean? Who else? I mean, Kendrick has got affiliations with the street guys. Nipsey Hussle, who was getting hood people intellectualized through hip-hop, was killed in front of his own store by people from his own community in a murder for hire, in an extortion thing, protection fee. He wasn't paying the protection fee, you know? Pop Smoke.
Yo, Pop Smoke. PNP Rock.
You understand?
Yo.
You know? PNB, and I actually met PNB Rock, and he was such a nice guy. He even gave me his numbers. I've still got this. Yeah, I'm serious. He gave me his number.
When I was 4, I told my dad to not vote for the ANC.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
sure.
I know, I'm serious. I met PNB Rock in LA. And he, like, seriously, he gave me, that's how humble he was. You know what I mean? I met Blueface as well, you know, and look what's happening with him as well. And even with him, it's like they made domestic violence content.
Yeah, one Christian rock. Christian rock.
Yeah.
Abuse sister live on camera. Yo, Alabantu laba imove mfana yenzakale hip hop yase-America manje.
You know what I mean?
Imove mfana.
So we've been observing it and watching it. But also the young kids have been watching it and seeing, okay, I also want to get into this hip hop space. And they're adapting it and they're appropriating that culture. And we don't need it here. We've got taxi violence that's bad enough, bro. We've got extortion rackets. We've got protection fee mafias in Umtata that are destroying that community, just decimating it. Decimating it. In Umtata, it's bad, bad, bad. It's so bad that people that come from Umtata tell you, yo, we're from Umtata. And I'm like, and so? Yeah, as in we are from Umtata. And I'm like, that makes you gangster now? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you understand what I'm saying? So already it's coming in. You know what I mean? So Umtata is now the Cape Flats. I'm like, you know, because people used to say, I'm from the Cape Flats, my bro. And that used to be intimidating.
So the episode thing is in a NOTA 2 weeks ago. What happened between you and Reason?
Yeah.
And then NOTA doesn't want to explain to me fully. Someone says, "Hi, Reason NOTA ampurbalwa lapho whatever." I'm serious.
No,
and then the other one says, "You have I think it's even, it's in the comment section of that episode."
Yeah.
The other one says, "NOTA Reason, I love you, bro." But apparently NOTA said to you, Reason was talking about loot love, so he can't just act all brand new.
No, Itegi from Nike. He got, no, she got Nikes.
It
wasn't about that. It wasn't about that. It was
no. Somebody was just saying their opinion.
I understand
Not
that.
good. It was a fact. Yeah.
No. But I just want to correct that because you know that comment got a lot of likes. I saw it. It got a lot of reactions because of how funny it was. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a fact. It was like, you know, it's like, bro. Sometimes meles kuzane. There's no way you can drive imoto yemedi and use it anyhow. Ichayiswe, you pick up girls ngemoto yemedi, you take izinto zemedi yakho and everything else. You know, you need to be respectable. And also, maskuzana, it's like you need to know how to treat people in your life. The mother of your child is something that's very important. Just because you're famous, it doesn't mean that manje you can now embarrass the mother of your child in front of the community yake and all that type of stuff. So that for me, I felt very offended at that point in time. And I felt like, I've already made this clear, face to face. And I'm face to face. So when I come up to Reason, I come up to him face to face. You know what I mean? I was just lucky on that day that when he tried to get too big for his boots, Naked DJ came in and said, no, Reason.
And naked Reason moved and naked
Unaked uvele wamkuku Reason.
Lang, guys, have you met NOTA? Do you know how tall he is? Guys, NOTA is tall. NOTA is tall.
I'm lanky. That's what they call lanky. So for those that don't understand what lank means.
so naked Reason
yeah, wamqubula. You know what I mean?
Every day.
Yeah, so mina bengazi because like you know
ask a man.
No, actually, so what happened is that Mina, when he's now making an issue about us being in the same space, I'm like, this is the Metro FM tent, and I'm here for Gigi Lemaine's interview. I'm waiting for Gigi. So I said, I'm waiting for Gigi. So I didn't know that is a trigger. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, because like, Gigi Mpinjam. You know what I mean? I talk to Gigi all the time. So I'm like, bengazi ukuthi naye umelu Gigi on some other tips. So I was like, hey, okay, now I know. So I was like, oh, damn, now it makes sense. Okay, that's why I began Kwatele. But I had no intentions, you know what I mean, to do anything disrespectful to him. And I'm just not that guy. I'm not the guy Odlani tend or anything like that. So, like, you know, I'm sure Nabo they sorted it out, and he saw that he overreacted because when he went away, I'm sure he had time to speak to people. It's like, why you guys are making a scene and it's going to be blown out of proportion, and he's seen how it's gotten blown out of proportion and hasn't commented on it. But we'll chat. I'll see him soon, and I'm the type of person that even if you know there's some whatever, I'll still come to you face to face. You know what I mean, and speak, because I'm just that type of guy. I don't feel like we ever need to resort to violence. Meles Shayan, you know what I mean? Meles Bonisan. If you feel that I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. You know what I mean? And trust me, I will apologize.
Sometimes I use NOTA. Sometimes. Guys, am I wrong though? Those who know NOTA. Guys, sometimes you NOTA guys, are you? Sometimes ngakhuluma something understand the grand. The next thing yavuka successini. How? NOTA lapha. Sometimes again.
No, but sometimes ezinye izinto zakudala, izinto zakudala.
That's why I mean angizingeni.
Yeah, so I moved away from.
Because sometimes maybe I'm like I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm a NOTA.
No, izinto zakudala, because like I also noticed like there was clips trending. You know what I mean? And now I need it because you send me a message. You're like, hey man, this clip, have you seen it? And I was like, hey damn, this is an old clip. And like, yo, who posted this? Now I needed to do the research. But I finally, yeah. So some of the old clips of some of the things that maybe I was less refined at the time. I had less responsibilities.
This is intwana.
Yeah.
Yo, namdoda nangisesintwana beng hardcore. EFF. Mina ngakhuza eGrootman, the late great Eddie Zondi, the legend. Ngathi nangiqeda ukujoin eMetro, there was like the first staff meeting lapho sihlangana khona sonke for the first time. Wayeka everybody waphuma wangigrunti Grootman.
Yeah.
Ngaqeda wangiqinisa isandla.
Yeah.
Alabela khuluma nami kanje kanti ufuna ukuthi bonke baphume.
Yeah.
Sagcina sele soyi2.
Yeah.
Lathi Grootman kimi.
But that's tactful.
Yeah, lathi Grootman kimi. Yabona lama bathing lama jokes lanka benokwayenza lapha eMetro because beniyintwana lapha. So la manje yabona ukuthi
why?
Yeah, ngithi why we used to diss Metro FM.
Yeah, I remember.
Because that was a culture beqala abo.
That's why I didn't listen to Metro. That's why ngoba nibadisile.
So Joe used to start
no,
there.
You know what I mean? Everyone had why.
No, but because the biggest DJs were doing it.
So that's why we were embarrassed to listen to Metro. Us, Tina, my generation, we were embarrassed to listen to Metro. Why are we listening to Metro? That's what our parents listened to.
Guys, ask your uncles and your aunts and your sisters and your mothers to tell you what happened back in those days. In that history.
Us, Metro FM was for when you are cleaning the house. Seriously.
Oh.
That was it. Otherwise, we listen to YFM. We never touch Metro. And we know that Metro's got even 2 frequencies.
But we're also
92 point whatever
also young at
and
the time.
96 point something. It's got 2 frequencies.
I remember even the time being bored talk radio.
Yeah.
Now my man, like I listen to talk radio mostly or most of the time.
Yeah.
Because it also goes with age. Right? I also hear some people say, why is it fun? It's because so kulile.
Yeah.
You're not the target market.
You understand what I'm saying? So now we need to look at the influence that our media culture has. Because even though you guys were dissing Metro and everything else, you are also saying as young people, we are the guys that you should identify with, but also the content was motivational. You know what I mean? I used to listen to, especially your show, also my favorite show, Tato and Tato in the Morning.
Yo, Unrestricted. Yo. I was DJ Fresh, by the way, guys, is back officially on radio April next year, 2025.
Oh.
So if you do a morning drive or afternoon drive, don't be too comfortable because the big dog is coming. Hey. He hasn't mentioned which station. He confirmed it on my radio show when I was interviewing him.
Nice.
But he hasn't confirmed what station.
Hey.
So noma sonke abashaya morning show nama afternoon show.
Shuthi nawe ke.
Bese sibuya nganeno.
Maybe ulande wena.
Sitting on your seat next year. Yeah.
Ulande wena.
Amar mina great noba ngaphuma.
But come on, you've got one of the biggest breakfast shows on radio right now.
Yeah.
You guys have grown as well. You've got over 2 million listeners weekly. You know what I mean? I think you're in the top 7 or 8 radio stations in the country right now.
Which is great.
It's a good job.
Yeah.
It's a good job. So,
it's a good job.
No, I won't lie. It's a good
but
job.
It's a lot of fun. It's something I love. Something I've done all of my life. You know. But I'm just excited because I'm a fan. So when you talk about the Unrestricted Breakfast Show, I'm thinking, wow, my radio hero is coming back on radio next year. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, those were, those were big shows. You know what I mean? They introduced a whole lot of people, but they were responsible at the same time. These guys are not killers. You understand what I'm saying? No, Kabzela, he was a taxi driver.
He was amazing.
He wasn't a taxi Ngabi.
He was amazing.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's why he was cool. Because he was relating to us. He was telling us about waking up at 3 in the morning and making sure that soya pumendlin or 4 figure renken before 5. And I mean, or whatever they're serving to the taxi drivers about renka early. You know what I mean? You are there, you are able to eat, and you are able to do, like, you know, living life as a taxi driver. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have Big Zulu being cool if Umakeza was just undignified completely. Do you understand what I'm saying? The fact that Big Zulu can brag about his times as a taxi driver, people like Kabzela normalize that to us.
Even people who speak Tsotital now on mainstream platforms, Kabzela made that to be cool.
You understand?
Everyone was just speaking English.
So that's the power that the youth have when they've got such platforms. And that's the power that's being misused by American hip-hop. So I'm encouraging, especially the young rappers, Kilo, 25K, you know what I mean?
He's amazing. I've
He's
had
cleaned
an
up his
interview
act.
with him. Yeah.
He's cleaned up his act. But I mean, that's what he was talking about the street life in Attridgeville.
Yeah, hip hop
what I mean?
saved his life. He almost lost his life as well before he got into hip hop.
Yeah, but he's not telling other kids to get into that. He's not rapping about bodies or so-and-so's bodies or my cousin's bodies or my homie's bodies. You know what I mean? Even eMtee, when he's talking about Manando, they really did it, yeah. Even though Manando did whatever he did, but he was talking about Manando protecting him from bullies in high school. You know what I mean? In high school, at a high school level. The kids of today, the people that they're drawing influences from are, not people that should be influencing anybody. You know what I mean? And the fact that the internet doesn't gatekeep these people, we've got some of the worst influences on our young kids. And for us, when you guys dissed Metro, it was very easy for us to diss Metro as well. Because we're like, yeah, but they are old. You know what I mean? And obviously, I don't want to be listening to, you know what I mean? I'll listen to Justice because he's got that show for the kids, you know what I mean? And I can call in and then I can answer all the questions. And then my mom's like, oh, you're so smart. You win on Justice's show every time you enter. And I'm like, yes, mom, of course. You know what I mean? But when we listen to you guys, we felt we related to people of our same generation. So now with what you are getting with these guys, I don't want to go through that. I listened to Tony Daimane's album. Tony Daimane, how do you let Kwesta and Younger Chief bury you on a song? And Usimamane and Tony Daimane, they do the first two verses. And then when you hear Kwesta and Younger, it's like the gap between my generation, my age group of people, who applied themselves to learning the craft and the skill of rap and understand the importance of words, the words that you choose, the words that you use, the words that you do not use, the spacing, the way that you adhere to a flow. You know what I mean? These guys gave them a master class. Young kids, you do not allow that. This is the same comment I had about Madlera Doughboy when he featured Kudichana. You know? And it's another thing. I bumped into Pastor. Is it Pastor or Mr. Salvin? What should I say?
I was with him today.
Yeah.
We were talking about you.
I bumped into him now.
Yeah.
And I used to say to a lot of my OGs.
He's Mr. Salvin. Yeah, but he's a pastor. He's a man of God.
Yeah. And
man, sure.
Actually, shout out to Pastor Kabelo Mabalani. I think that we've seen the new pastor of Rhema Church, by the way, in him after the obituary that he read out in the sermon that he did. I think that he's now owned the role. Like, it seems like he's a guy who was never involved in Kwaito.
He's like Shine, right? When you listen to Shine rapping back in the day and listen to and look at Shine today as a politician in Bernice, what is that country? Bernice or something?
Belize,
right?
Yeah, Belize.
You can't say that's the same Shine who went...
Belize.
Who served 10 years for that shooting with Puffy and Jennifer Lopez in the club. How he transformed his life, bro.
Let's not get into that because then we'll have to explain what happened with Flank Flex and Shine.
Okay, let's
So I was speaking to him and I was with Morale.
I haven't seen Morale in a while.
I was with Morale on Sunday.
Okay.
No, ngizomkrunta. You know what I mean? Like, Morale is the reason why a lot of these young kids are getting sync deals. He's on the executive end. And now we're having a discussion about, hey, why were the rappers broke? Because, like, people are asking, why were people... I was like, when we were coming up, we didn't have Morale in the corner offices making decisions to our benefit because he cares about us.
But you played that role as well at Orchard.
Well,
you benefited a lot of...
I'm old.
A lot of younger
I'm
guys.
old, yeah, I'm old. But I'm just saying that when we started, when I was 19, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever age that we started out, Abo Morale were also in the later age, but they weren't executives.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, these young kids, it's easy to get endorsement deals. It's because the people that are giving you these endorsement deals were also rappers in the 90s, 2000s. They get the game, and they're giving you these opportunities because that's what they wanted when they were kids and they never got that. So that's why you guys are benefiting. You cannot misuse that. You need to respect your elders. And what I was saying is this, is that for me, if I were to criticize a Nasty C or someone of his age, if he insults me or incites his fans to insult me, he's killing himself because he's going to grow up. He's not going to be the 19-year-old rapper. He's now the 25-year-old rapper. And I said at that time, I'm like, I see the response from the kid responding to my criticism, which is supposed to be growing him because it's constructive criticism. And I see how he's weaponizing his fans to come and attack me and thinking that's going to do something to me. It's not going to do anything to me. It's going to do worse to him. Because now everyone's talking about Usimamane. And the same disrespect he was giving me is the same disrespect Usimamane's fans are giving to him right now. Do you understand that if you do not teach them that you respect your elders, the same way I respect Morale, the same way I respect Pastor Salvin, all my OGs, you know what I mean? The way I speak about them, when I'm on podcasts, I speak about all these OGs. I mention every single person that ever helped me. Doesn't matter how small their contribution was. I mention it. I go to Thibaut Touch's comments when he's posting, and I remind him that I'm grateful for everything he did for me, all the doors he opened for me. When I met Thibaut Touch, I was wearing school uniform, and he took me seriously. And he took me into boardrooms, actually. I have to take off my school uniform, you know what I mean? At least I just wear I would wear jeans and my white shirt, so at least in a jumpis. But either way, I was practically in school uniform when Thibaut Touch was taking me to boardrooms at first. You understand? And I thank him. And I don't do it just for me. I do it for the young kids that are also watching us and saying, yo, if our OGs are thanking their OGs, we need to thank our OGs so that we pass down this culture to these younger kids who will then thank us. Because the reason why they've got food on the table today is because of sacrifices that were made from people who had no connection to them whatsoever. We're not your cousins. We're not your brothers. You know what I mean? We're not your family, blood family. But we made sacrifices so that the ecosystem could survive. So that we give a platform for you guys to think. You guys made those sacrifices. And you got burnt. And you got sworn at. And you got insulted. And even when people insult you and everything, it hurts me. It hurts me so much because I'm like, I don't know why these people who have done nothing to help anyone in their lives think that they can insult someone who's done so much for so many families. There's so many families that you have changed lives for. So many, countless families. And none of us are related to you. I met your mother for the first time now. You know what I mean?
Last 2 weeks ago.
And I wasn't even expecting it. And that's why I was a bit upset because I wasn't expecting you to take me home because I was like, Ish, I didn't want to meet her empty-handed. You know what I mean? That's the person that brought you to being the person that you are so that you can bless others. You know what I mean? So she has blessed my life. She has changed my life. You know what I mean? My mother, every single time, tells me all the time, I must thank you every time. You must thank him. You must thank him. You must thank him. You must thank him. Because she's seen you help me since I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? Since I was 12 years old, this is 22 years later. We are 22 years on of you mentoring me. It's a long time. You know what I mean? That's a lot of investment to invest in a kid where you don't know where he's going to end up. You don't know whether he's going to end up being, someone who's sitting on a corner or whatever, or be useless and everything else. And there's so many people that you've tried to help that it never materialized. And I know how much it hurts because the same way you've helped me, I've also tried to do that to other people. And some people, it doesn't matter how much you try, it just doesn't materialize into anything. And it hurts you as well because it's like, ish, I've tried everything, but it just is not working with this person. We need to teach these young kids to respect their OGs, And I'm happy that I need to say their brand names because, I know these people personally. So you need to remember that people don't know that Kwesta and Younger Chief showed Usimamane and Tony Daimani what it takes to be a high-level rapper. You know what I mean? Usimamane has got all the time in the world. Tony Daimani has got all the time in the world. Kwesta's got 2 kids. He's got his daughter that he drops off at school every morning. You understand? Picks her up after school, takes her to wherever she has to go. If she has to go to ballet, whatever. He's got his family to look after. He's got his family businesses to look after. You know what I mean? All of the things that he's doing. And when it's time for him to write a killer verse, murders it. And he doesn't need to hear what other people did. Ever. He's the type of rapper that he comes into the studio making sure that when he lays his verse, it's laid. It's laid. Doesn't matter who can come after that. Because he doesn't know one day maybe a pro kid verse could come on there and embarrass him. You know what I mean? That's the attitude that we came into the game with. You never know. Sometimes you're on a posse track, a DJ asks you to do a verse, and all of a sudden there are these big rappers. Now you're on a song with Pro Kid, and Pro Kid is murdering you. So you need to be prepared. Each and every single performance you give on that mic needs to be like it's your last. You know what I mean? Who knows if B.I.G. knew that he'd live a very short time? We don't know. Maybe in his mind he thought he'd live forever. But even if he thought, he treated his first like his last. You know what I mean? And that's the advice he gave to Jay-Z as well. And each and every single Jay-Z verse, even if you listen to it, you can see it was not wasted. No word is wasted there. And that's what I need these kids to understand, that these words matter to a whole lot more people than they think. And they need to be forever. They need to stand the test of time. You know, it's a testament. This is your testimony. You are giving a sermon. And not many people, less than 0.1% get that platform, get that audience. You know, I also listened to Frank Casino, and I was also disappointed because for me, it's like you let Ricky down. I know what Ricky invested in Frank Casino with expecting no return. He didn't sign Frank Casino. You know what I mean? But he bred life into Frank Casino, helping him fund videos, helping him get the right directors, you know what I mean? Helping him get sponsorships and deals and everything else, and speaking highly of him on every single platform. You know what I mean? And then when I listen to this album, no, Chief. You don't do that with a Ricky endorsement. You don't. If I've been endorsed by DJ Spoo, I need to walk like I've been endorsed by DJ Spoo. I need to represent myself like I've been endorsed by DJ Spoo, because that's a big guy. And for him to become a big guy, he had to make many sacrifices for him to have the opportunity to endorse me. And there's other people that he chose not to because he knew that they would be a liability. So I've been chosen because I'm lucky, I'm fortunate. I need to make that blessing into something that is beneficial to people other than myself. So that's what I want from especially the current hip-hop generation. But I mean, there's good signs because 25K had his listening session. They also had an after party at the club, and all the rappers, the hip-hop guys, including Focalistic, because he's still a rapper, he's still a hip-hop guy, they were all standing in one section. The Amapiano guys were in separate sections because Bona, they haven't learned the lesson about this thing of having beefs that are unnecessary. You know what I mean? And the hip-hop guys have seen that the unity of Amapiano, all these posse tracks and all these group tracks, which is something that they inspired. You know what I mean? When the DJ Dimples were doing songs, when the DJ Slicks were doing songs, when the DJ Switches were doing songs, all of them, we were all united. Now they're getting back to that. So I'm glad that they're finding unity, but let us get back to the craft itself. When we are putting an album together, let's make sure that that album is faultless, it's flawless. You know what I mean? I know Uvalo is doing well, but Java made many sacrifices for him to murder each and every single feature. And when you feature him, it's a cheat code. He's the Drake of South Africa. Java is the Drake of South Africa. He's the Java stimulus. You cannot rely on this Java stimulus, especially the new generation, because the generation that comes after you, they live up to the bar that you guys have set, and the bar is very low right now. It's very low. I'm not feeling the delivery. That's why I feel the delivery more of the Amapiano artists. When I listen to Umahu, she's featured on 3 songs, I think, 2 or 3 songs on this new Babalwa album. You know what I mean? And Piki Piki is my favorite. I think that's a smash hit. It's going to blow out. It was performing very badly on the charts, but I think it's climbing now because people are realizing that that's a hit song. And because it's rising above, also I know that my ear is still working. So Mahu, when I listen to her songs, they move me. They move my soul. The lyricism. You know what I mean? Apart from everything else that you see on social media, when I listen to that music, it's just me and my headphones, ooh, she's speaking to my soul. Babalwa as well, speaking to my soul. You know what I mean? There's this other lyric that she has just in closing. Yo. Izono zabazali zinga.
Something like that,
yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yo, that voice, bro.
But forget the voice. Are you hearing what she's saying?
You can
those
feel
words.
The soul, the writing, yeah. The writing
she's
is
talking
timeless.
about generational curses. She's talking about
Yes.
Zinga
Generational curse, generational traumas.
You understand what I'm saying? Listen to that content. I'm not hearing that in SA hip hop at all. At all. They're politically bankrupt. They're socially inept. They are inarticulate. They're not respecting the craft. And this hip hop that you guys are able to rap with and feed your families with, some of us fought for. Some of us fought for. Some of us fought for this. And we had nothing. We weren't earning anything. We're climbing taxis, 5 taxis, 3 taxis. That's back to the city stage that you guys are able to jump on, right? There was no back to the city at some point in time. I caught 3 taxis to get to Newtown to hand a USB with my beats to Sugar Smacks, for him to hop on my beat, for me to be a producer, for me to hear my productions on radio. You guys don't have to do that. You post your stuff on the internet and it's automatic. So because we've made it so easy for you guys and technology is making it even easier, don't now sleep on the job itself. Because this music is supposed to pay you. You know what I mean? Some of the content that I've made in the past, it's fine, okay. I'm iffy about it. Some of it I'm not proud of. I won't say I regret it because I can learn from it, right? I'm not proud of. But most of it, I can say, is standing the test of time. The reason why it's able to go viral is because it's honest, it's true, it's authentic. Even 5 years later. This hip-hop that we're listening to today, can you listen to it next week? Will it move you next week? Because it's about this week, first week. What are the first week numbers? It's about 2022 Africa posting about it and saying, hey, did this many streams in South Africa, did this much, did this much. And then it's about guys talking about, hey, why are you talking about our songs coming off the charts and everything else? It's because there's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to talk about other than your chart performance. Nothing else to talk about other than numbers on the streams. Because I can't quote a bar that I can write home about. There's nothing. There's no substance. I can't listen to your whole album and I don't pause. And then say, hey, what did this man say? Nothing like that. There's nothing that jumps out at me. And I'm disappointed in that. You know what I mean? There's no way hip-hop lyricism is worse than Kwaito lyricism. There's no way. Because that's why hip-hop was made. It's because they were saying, but you Kwaito guys are too much bubblegum. It's because they also didn't understand the ghetto intellectual. They didn't understand that. So they thought that because these people speak in English, they rap in English, they are more articulate than us because we think that people that know English is the same way that we think that a white person with a matric is much more qualified than a black person with a PhD, right? Same way we think. So that brainwashing is still in effect, even within our music. And we don't hear the words that are being said by these people. Even Abo Mawilis. Yeah, Mawilis would repeat the same line over and over again. But actually, if you listen to what he's actually saying, if you understand it, wow. The fact that he can say something so profound, so simply. You know what I mean? It's too much.
Marana oboja, kuzwayo, awulaleli. We kuzwayo.
Awulaleli.
He'll repeat it over and over, but if you actually listen to what this man is saying.
He's moving you.
Mdu.
He's moving you. Amakrutman ethu lawo.
Tebe.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You understand? How many choruses have bitten that Tebe Groover's prayer? There's like 5 different new choruses that are based on Groover's prayer. With Sis Unathi, ne?
Yeah. Ulonu zonke.
Ooh, that was zonke. Damn. Ooh.
Do-do-do-do-dum.
Ooh.
Do-do-do-do-dum. Do-do-do-do-dum.
Ooh.
I wanna know.
She's a quite an artist, can't
she was still new at the time.
Zola and Unathi, yes.
Usana Lwam, that is
Usana
Zola and
Lwam,
Unathi.
yes. Sorry for that mix-up, yes. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you need your OGs to correct your culture.
That's wisdom also.
You. It's a prayer. Yes.
That's wisdom. But as much as we are grooving, but let's look after ourselves. Let's not lose our lives.
Yes, recklessly.
Yeah.
Because so many people have lost their lives. Our friends, our peers. You understand? So let's party responsibly. That was before Aware and all these people said drink responsibly. So it's before those campaigns.
Drops mic, NOTA, the authority. Tonight dropping, I think by the time this episode is out, it's a Monday today. It dropped on Friday. Brand new king size. KO and AKA.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's dropping tonight. You'll only hear it at 12 o'clock midnight tonight.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
He did it with AKA while he was still alive.
Yeah, no,
He's only
I heard that.
Tonight.
I heard that. I don't know how I feel about the new AKA on the 25K. You know?
No,
Shout out to my nigga 25K. I used to charge 25. You heard that feature?
Yeah, yeah.
So like the posthumous, because they're now posthumous because they're being released after his passing, right? The posthumous verses, I feel like the songs themselves haven't lived up to the stature. You understand? And also, I guess that's the same criticism I have of the younger generation of rappers, that they're not applying themselves musically enough. But someone as experienced and as tenured as KO, I can only expect fireworks.
KO doesn't play.
Yeah, he doesn't
His
play.
previous 3 singles were fire, bro.
Yeah,
the one with
no.
Maclera,
But
Too Much with Nasty.
Those are the OGs. That's what I'm saying. Is that I'm an OG,
and he doesn't play.
Are finishing
Whoever
the kids.
he features, he makes sure.
As kids, let me tell you guys, this is the job for each and every single young rapper in South Africa. You need to out-rap KO. That's it. Out-rap him. He's in his 40s. Out-rap him. You've got all the time in the world. You don't even do your homework. No, I'm serious. These kids don't do their homework. So out-rap the OGs. Out-rap them. Because when your OGs were young, they were out-rapping their OGs. Abo Amu had to sit back and say, hey.
Mina ngitshela 99 ukuthi mina ngathi nangizupro ngathi I think producer ngiyekele mic. Washo 99 ukuthi upro mina wangiretire.
If I don't inspire you
last week,
I might F around and retire you.
And shout out to my boy Amu. And then what I'm fine. What you guys did with Pro. My man, do you know Amu in his prime?
Of course, I know.
He will out-rap anyone.
Amu's like a brother to me.
He used to come to the rap activity jam.
Before then, I've known Pela. He's like a brother to me. Pela, him and Specs were like this back in the day. Yeah,
Spectator.
You know what I mean? So these are the guys that started Lead Lab. This Lead Lab that people talk about. They started it.
Yes,
sir. You understand what I'm saying? So those are my big brothers. So I've known him. I was actually talking to him maybe last week. I think I was speaking to him last week.
And we've got an unfinished business episode that we need to do. Amu. Actually, it'll be dope if we do it together.
Yeah, please.
Amu must come sit here.
Please.
Too.
Please. And you guys don't even understand. Sugar Smacks used to kiss Amu's feet. Squatter camp. Even Nabo Flaba. Flaba and all of them got put on because Amu allowed them to breathe next to him and spit on a mic and freestyle. And Flaba killed that freestyle, and that's what put Squatter camp on. Do you understand the level of respect your OGs had for Amu? You know what I mean? He's the principal. So I'm hoping that the young kids watch this episode, listen to our comments, watch the previous episode where I talked about production and stagecraft, and understand the principle.
That episode that you're talking about, that's what we were talking about with Mr. Salvin earlier today. He says, big up to NOTA. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
NOTA.
Yeah.
With that episode where he speaks about the kings of the Amapiano genre right now, the Scorpion Kings.
Yeah.
They're so dope that it's them who are supposed to be doing that level of production that Uncle Waffles is doing.
Exactly.
And then we started talking about that episode.
Yeah.
And that was incredible insight from him. I was like, oh, so you listen to the pod? He's like, yeah, I listen to you guys.
Yeah. No, seriously. Nyezo. I'm a Krutman ass lalela. So please, please make me proud. You know what I mean? There's nothing I'd love more than to shower them with praise. There's nothing I'd love more. You know what I mean? I don't say this because I've got a malicious heart. I want only the best for them. You know, I want only the best for them. And some of them need to stop taking offense. Offense is taken, not given, guys. Offense is taken. It's either you take offense. You have to choose not to take offense so that you can learn. You need to hear divergent views from your own.
And because this conversation is towards the end of the episode, not a lot of people listen to all of the podcasts until the end. So some of you guys who got you, clip it up. And if you think there are some quotables, go share on TikTok so that as many hip-hop rappers as possible can see these clips and come back check
And
out
if you
the
disagree,
episode.
please also share, guys.
Sure.
Share. We're not people who are arrogant and ignorant of other people's views, because my perspective is tainted by my glasses. My lens is different from yours. You know what I mean? Just in the same way that I was saying earlier that I watched the Sizwe Mpofu Welsh interview that Floyd Shivambu was doing with 6,000 other people's ears. And, 3,000. What?
5 to 6,000.
No, well, that's 10,000 ears.
Yeah.
And
double, yeah.
20,000. Oh, yeah, 10,000 and 10,000 other people's eyeballs. I was observing it and seeing the body language, the behavior. It's the same with you guys. When you're on TikTok, you can take a clip, you can play the clip, you can put yourself inside like the green screen effect, and you can make a comment and you can say, I agree with this, I disagree with this. Okay, maybe you guys should try this, because it helps us, because we do the research. You know what I mean? Tasbuda, well, he does a whole lot, because you also have your team that you work with at
on the radio,
and you guys do a lot of research in preparing for your show, because you need to be there. I mean, you're up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
I know.
3.
I text you. Well, yeah, right, but money test us.
Your NOTA is up at 3:30.
Yeah, no, but I text you at 4 a.m. and then okay, she got it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, you're up, because sometimes I'm just trying to leave that text there so that you can get it maybe
When you
like
wake
10
up.
yeah.
Nami
Yeah.
nokwenza kanjani?
Yeah.
Nam email abantu.
Yeah.
Bashanga email ngabo 5 ekuseni.
Yeah.
Nabafika officeini ngo7. My email is already
Yeah, I don't
first.
expect you to be awake, but obviously I understand, because you've got a very important show, and that's very impactful as well. You know what I mean? Like I've said many times, Mina, I'm always touched by when you're interviewing people and people then call in. I love that, the power of radio. We don't have that here. You know what I mean? No one can call in. So we need you guys, and we're relying on you guys, especially the guys that are on TikTok, because that's where the audience is. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not always on TikTok, I'm not even on TikTok. I don't use TikTok, but the clips do get to me, because after TikTok they get reshared onto other platforms, and then, you know what I mean, they're able to proliferate like that. Your views are, we desire your views. You know what I mean? If you guys still remember how views were sent back in the day, it was private bag 839 Auckland
Yeah, I
Park,
remember, yeah.
Pedi, Noto,
Tselela.
Tselela. You understand?
I feel funny now. Guys, we're out of here. Has that been 2 hours? I'm sure that's almost 2 hours, ne? Yo. The
but we
authority
can talk.
guys have spoken.
Sorry.
I think let's leave it here for now. We love you so much, guys. We'll see you on the next episode. We're trying to build these Mondays with NOTA.
Yeah,
we
thank
did
you.
it very well 2 years ago. Then we stopped. We did it again last year. Then we stopped. This year we have to be consistent this time around, and we want your support. So episodes drop on Mondays at 12 o'clock midday. The NOTA, the authority, is here to share with us his knowledge and school us and go back and forth and just entertain you, inform you, educate you, and create those debates that you guys are having out there. We love you so much. We'll see you guys on the next episode. See you next week, Monday, bro.
Peace out. Ah, damn it, I can't do that. Tears.
Yo, that was a fire episode. NOTA.